Welcome, everybody. I am your androgynous android game show host from the future, Nathan Blades. This is the Neoncasted Twitch channel for my second time today, and this is session 5 of Chant of the Void Sea. We're calling this track Mysterons. We have our illustrious group of players. The unstoppable streaming power, indeed. Yes. Please, since you volunteered first, please welcome everybody to the table, the one and only Ruben Ferdinand.
Tankfly was the fuck? No, why'd you do that? I'm a spaghetti. It's out of my pocket. Hi everyone, it's me, Ruben. I'm playing Reed in this campaign, and I'm so excited to, play this religious Failson. It's great.
Yeah, we're back at it, even though the dice have not been kind to you like the last two sessions in a row. It's wild.
It's so fun. It's really, really fun.
I'm glad it's fun. Sometimes when that happens, people are like, I just can never get a break. But I'm glad the twists are entertaining. Also making some very entertaining moves last session with a little bit of demon conversation. We have the one and only Tom Greenwood.
Evening, everybody. I'm looking forward to attempting to keep speaking in third person for the entirety of the session, not keep slipping as I get more tired as the game goes on.
You do a very good job of maintaining it, bro. The one and only goblin and purveyor of the Come and Go Tavern. We welcome to the stage Sheila Ornthalis.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here once again, and I'm looking forward to another great session.
And the mystery, the enigma, the digital consciousness who is coming through your speakers into your ears. Please welcome the one and only Captain Comic Geek.
Hi, everyone. I'm sure this bit will get tired at some point, but until then, yay!
Oh, absolutely not. I enjoy you being an unknowable being. I aspire to have the same kind of energy, truly. As we're getting the scroll of the credits going through, so people know what we did and who did it. This is a whole new arc, I guess. I never like doing long campaigns, right? I tend to have a thing in mind of how long a campaign will run. And I've enjoyed playing in the world with y'all for so long. We've gone a little longer than in what I had in my head, but I'm having a great time so far. And this start of a new arc is a fabulous opportunity for new listeners to get on board with the new set of shenanigans we're having. We have a doozy of an episode coming up for you today. We've got a decent amount of improv, a decent amount of chilling in the streets, some lo-fi times, and then the crime times will be starting in the second half of the session, and things will probably get very unhinged very quickly, and I am looking forward to it. Okay, with all of that pre-prep done, I should probably make sure I have my session notes open. B, make sure I know what jams we're going to be playing. And C, get into session 5 of Chant of the Void Sea. All right, let's get a new jam going. There we go. Hello, people of Duskfall. You're listening to the smooth sounds of Golden Hour Radio. I'm your host, AU. I'm gold, baby. Your monthly deep dive into our deep-roasted lo-fi crime drama has been brought to you by the fine folks of Phantom Arts Entertainment. I don't need to tell you, listeners, that the cops are dangerous. But ones with built-in chainsaws and control over broadcast towers that emit an ominous, emotion-numbing signal, well, that's a whole new kind of danger. So then, the coffee shop gang of Smile the Widest were lucky to escape with just a ringing in their ears, although empty-handed. I suppose that means all you listeners don't need to be on the lookout for that mysterious stranger in a pork pie hat anymore. But if you've seen a new speaker tower near your home, you best keep some wire cutters close at hand. In cheerier news, we here at the Golden Hour are preparing to hold a project launch for something special. In collaboration with the fine folks at the Ligature Workshop, the Electrogram is here to revolutionize Electrovox arcane technology. Enjoying our broadcast? Well, with an Electrogram, you can record it as a written text to read whenever you like. There are still a few bugs to work out, but our staff are hard at work to ensure that your first experience with this stellar piece of technology will be without any nasty surprises. A new arc has started for our heroes, but that doesn't mean the streets have changed. Keep your communities close and your arcane practices even closer. Before we drop the needle to get things started, a reminder. This is a story about terrible people doing terrible things, sometimes for the right reasons. We'll likely be hitting on themes of fictional religious politics, incarceration, police violence and corruption, pointed bloody violence, and accounts of claustrophobia. Still your heart and enjoy the horror at your own pace. So, get comfortable, pour your glass of something strong and sip it slow. You're locked into Chant of the Void Sea. And now, a pirate radio broadcast in many senses. Across the seas, through the anti-Leviathan barrier and direct to your ears, it's 92.8 Fulga Frigate Radio, where we broadcast reports of fishing convoys, bootleg vinyls of harsh noise, and saucy gossip on cute boys, with your host, well, you know that's a secret. Loose lips sink ships, after all. You'll be delighted to know that the crew and I have managed to secure not only enough Leviathan oil to keep us afloat for the next month, but enough booze and uppers to keep this show going till the crack of dawn. Thank you so much to the generous donors of the White Crown Fishing Company. Your shipping report has been useful for the whole seafaring community. Oh, and sorry to hear what happened to one of your vessel captains. Now, is it just me? Or have the airwaves gotten more lively lately? There was some major Electrovox interference that even reached the ears of us way out here that was honestly too garbled to make out. We at Fulga Frigate Radio love that there are new EV kitties on the come-up, but these aren't your papa's Sparkrite tools. Don't go shocking yourself now. We did catch a name as part of that wave of static, though. Dasha Locklear. And oh my god, I am such a fan. I got a tattoo from her when she was still an indie. If this is her starting a new music career, then we might have to dock into Doskval and catch a live show. Just don't be upset if we don't show up in black tie formal. All right. Enough jawing. Let's get jamming. Coming up to you now is Midnight in Char Hollow by the Crashing Waves. So, we pull back in, away from the vast oceans surrounding the coast of Doskval, to simultaneous, more comfortable scenes. One, within the Golden Hour itself, with, what does your, study space look like, Dash?
Dash is full. It's a full workshop cum library, taking up most of the entirety of the loft space of the Golden Hour. Probably a couple of the walls completely covered in. There's probably, in fact, almost divide between the two of old life meets new life, where there's books, a very mysterious-looking sarcophagus-like thing, which is sealed and currently quite dusty, and then an entire area which is more wardrobes and mirrors and other paraphernalia for her current idol career. And
not too far away, where is Reed sitting to catch up on some light reading?
Reed is sitting in like a salon chair, cross-legged, listening to the pirate radio, but sort of like turning the volume knob all the way down if it's a song they don't like. Annoying everyone else in the building.
Plus, it seems like the host is a little shrill, a little high on the treble, but it's all good. But yes, you're both having a good read. In Mux Quadrature's case, the book that you obtained from one Reverend Bergamot. If you wouldn't mind letting the listeners know just how you managed to get hold of that book.
After just trying to, I guess, change the scales on my position, on Reed's position within the Church of the Weeping Lady, that didn't go so well. So in an action of you didn't win, actually, Reed stole a book from Father Bergamot and is now examining it.
Yeah, the cover of it looks to just be standard religious healing ritual practices of the Church of the Weeping Lady. How to use divine given magic and ritual to be able to heal a wide variety of different maladies. But as you flick through the pages, you find that there are a handful of memos that Bergamot seems to have stashed away in this book.
Ooh, interesting. Can I say that since you mentioned it's like a medical text and kind of older, that it kind of resembles what the Voynich manuscript might be? You know, kind of I guess encoded in some way?
Okay. Yeah. I think this is designed to be a relatively accessible text by, I guess, what would count as the clergy. But historically, you know, instances of who was and wasn't allowed to read is a pretty stringent measure. So yes, this is maybe somewhat encoded, although in a way that you can understand.
Gotcha. Cool. I'm definitely flipping to the pages and scanning for more of Bergamot's notes.
There seems to be, it's handwritten notes from him, not a typewriter. That is what he's been spending his time doing now that he's going on fewer fishing trips than normal. He is apparently leading an effort in being able to detect members of the public who might be using the magic rituals or things similar to the magic rituals that the Weeping Lady does that are unauthorized.
Oh, interesting. Does it mention in what way is the idea of like unauthorized expressed? Like, is it like certain people doing this, or is it really to like force the control of the Weeping Lady?
As you kind of lean in a little closer to try and discern, I think his notes are probably hand encoded as well. Different cipher to the book, but similar enough where you can work your way through it as long as you concentrate. We match cut back to the study where Dacia is looking through her texts. You've recently completed a new piece of ink work and trapped it in a tome. What was the book that you just finished?
Dash's latest creation was, at the request of Bask, a ritual that's effectively linked all of the members of the Smith crew as one, though possibly unbeknownst to them bound by the underwriting laws of the Smiles patron. It's not every gang in the city that manages to be purveyed or at least led by a demon, not publicly anyway. And you wonder how many members of Smile the Widest even know the true nature of the gang's benefactor, but you're privileged enough to know that information is a lot clearer. As you so go ahead. Oh no, carry on.
As you stare at the book, the ink that you use to put these sigils down, connecting the members of the forge together, they glow in a different color, oh so slightly, in places. They pulse gently, but not in sync. I wonder what the people that these sigils are connected to must be doing to get them to glow in such a fashion.
I think the underlying levels of this ritual has a level of emotion built into it. So it almost reacts through the circle as it's firing and the magic settling down a bit.
Around this time in the morning, many members of the Forge are doing a morning workout at their base of operations. And you wonder if you try and focus in on any given one in particular, they might be, the ebb and flow of it might even be synced up to whatever reps they might be doing. One of those sigils belongs to one Basque, or currently known as the Blacksmith. What around this time in the early morning, what is Blacksmith's kind of morning routine? What do they get up to at this hour?
I think at this hour, before even doing like a workout, he does a walkabout to basically let the city know, or his part of town know, that yes, he's here, he's actively looking, know that he's around.
And while you're having your walk, you feel a faint twinge, and you're not sure why. Moving back to Reed, working through the notes of Reverend Bergamot, you try and check to see what sort of criteria is behind this particular search for people who are using magic incorrectly. You don't have to, but would you like to roll some dice about it?
Of course, I would. Let me actually reboot Roll20 because it's giving me shit.
Yeah, Roll20's been acting up for me a little today as well, but we'll persevere.
Alright, what kind of roll would this be?
Well, it feels like to me that Investigate is definitely going to be the main skill we're doing here. And the domain has some options. Occult is potentially an option, as is religion.
I would like to go for Investigate Religion then.
Okay. Well, in Spire, for those who may be tuning in for the first time and do not know, this is a D10 based system. We put together a little dice pool of D10s and try and check what the highest number is. For any check, we always get one D10 by default, and then we get additional D10s depending on whether the skill or domain of the roll matches up. So do you happen to have Investigate?
I have 1 point in Investigate and nothing else.
Okay, so we're adding 1 to that base set for 2d10.
Okay, it's not loading for me. Could you roll in my stead?
I would be happy to do that for you.
Thank you.
No worries. So this is Investigate Religion. We are going to roll 2 dice.
And you can lie about the results as long as it's full.
I don't need to lie here, because that is a 9, which is a full success with no drawbacks.
Yippee!
So I'm going to go and tell you one thing straight up that you'll work out, and then you can ask me some additional questions about the notes. Since you rolled so well, you can ask me 2 questions. So it seems that the main criteria for using ocean magic in a way that does not fit the Weeping Lady's ideals is stuff related to demonology.
Right. Any specific demons mentioned?
This seems to be blanket, and it's even though the nature of ocean magic can heal, its connection with otherworldly entities is a thing that the Weeping Lady does not like, if nothing else because it puts members of the organization in danger. And if it was publicly known that what they use to heal people is also capable of causing disasters and corruption, well, that would be horrendously bad PR.
Huh. Ooh, I like the sound of that. Okay, so there's a link between ocean magic, or the kind of philanthropy that the Weeping Lady provides, and like demonology, and they want to obfuscate that.
Mhm.
Second question is,
There might even
Ooh.
be some names here.
yes, I want to know who Bergamot is working with, if anyone stands out.
Well, it seems that the priority right now is finding people who have specifically been communing with Leviathans, as that branch of demonology. And they are currently working with the Bluecoats specifically as a method of being able to detain potential targets.
Oh,
There are not many
Cool.
names in here. It seems that even under this process of trying to encode the missives, a name would maybe be too easily cracked. But there is a mention of the Hive, funnily enough, and not in a notion of allyship, but as a vector of investigation.
interesting. That's definitely information they would be interested in. As for the Blue Coat Corporation, I think Reed is not shocked, but disappointed nonetheless. To see like the religious institution and sort of like the order that they want to believe in. It's it's difficult. It's tough right now. They going through like the breakup album with it, and yes, seeing this confirmation that also directly implies institutions like Bunker House, I think, is distressing. That's for sure. It's disappointing.
Yeah, the bunkhouse is a location that has specifically been mentioned as a place to move potential suspects of demonology to for further questioning. Speaking of demonology, moving back to the study where Dash is looking at her handiwork, we see one of the sigils flare big. The kind of like dark midnight blue, almost black of the ink, almost becomes a sickly sea green, bright sea green. And then that light moves, almost dissipates to the other sigils within the ring. Do you want to maybe make a roll to understand what might be going on here, Dash?
I would love to. I feel investigate occult. So that'll be 2 dice. So I have flips in those.
I do believe that puts us in a failure. Okay. There is no stress on the other side of this.
No.
It is. Yeah, go
pick
ahead.
up the book and look a little bit puzzled. Going back and retracing a few of the sigils, of hovering a finger over them in a sort of, it shouldn't be that obvious. Dash is sure it's perfect, but
And I
this
think
odd moment of turning it upside down, it's like I didn't draw it upside down, did I?
as you inspect your handiwork, you look at the sigil that all of the members of the Forge are connected to, the one and only Smile, and you're not sure if you did this consciously, or if this maybe has changed, or maybe you wanted to do this all along and you didn't really want to admit it to yourself. But what the protection is here that you have set amongst the members is a protection against pain. But pain is like an energy. Energy can't really be destroyed. It can only be converted or moved. It seems that the way that these members are being protected from pain is to distribute it across the group. The blacksmith, your lower back kind of aches, and you're not sure why.
Mood.
Old age, clearly.
The ripe old age of 32.
Something like
Meanwhile,
that, yeah.
somebody working, one of your members at the forge, mid-workout, managed to. They weren't being spotted as they were doing their reps properly, and for a while were pinned by the weights that they were lifting. But it didn't hurt as much as they were expecting, and they're not sure why. Okay. Let's hustle on to elsewhere in Doskvol, shall we? The members that we see before us today are directly members of or affiliated with a gang called Smile the Widest, who operate out of a coffee shop, the Golden Hour. They used to do much more illicit thing. They sold much more illicit things among their wares, but due to some unforeseen circumstances and a desperate chase around the city a year ago, they've had to move to much more legal means. In fact, they've even struck up a relationship with the other burgeoning coffee shops across Doskvol, the Coffee Shop Union. In fact, we visit one of those coffee shops now, the Midnight Joy. Quite a ways away from where we normally find ourselves, the Midnight Joy is particularly famous for being one of the few establishments that is open for, I guess, legal sales after midnight, as the name suggests. And as they are opening up for the next day of service, working all the way through to midnight, we meet the proprietor of the Midnight Joy. When I find where I put her token, here we are. Joy McCormick is the proprietor of the Midnight Joy, a hard-working individual who takes pride in the community she has managed to foster. The place has been doing quite well for itself. Tell me, Joy, what do you like about running a coffee shop like this?
So I think that Joy is a fan of the fact that things are much more, I won't say relaxed, but sort of they can move at their own pace in the midnight hours. You know, business isn't slow, but it is, at a meaningful clip instead of just being rushing everywhere to do everything all at once.
And, well, you're going to be as often, considering you're usually the last person here, you are also opening the Midnight Joy, handling the initial coffee rush, and then you'll be retiring to let one of your baristas go and take things up while you can actually get some shut-eye. What we're going to have here is a little bit of a mini-game. We've done one of these before. We're all going to act as morning customers visiting the Midnight Joy for an order of, well, whatever you like. But, it's nice to start some small talk with the proprietor. You may have something weighing on your mind that you want to get off your chest. Does anybody want to be the first visitor on doors open to place an order at the Midnight Joy?
I'll have a crack at it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like the doors open and you hear the ding, 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 ding. Yep. And entering is I want to describe a rectangular figure, very proportionate, very well edged off, hair, shoes, clothing, just a lot of sharp angles going on. And they kind of fast walk over to the counter and introduce themselves as Allergies Caffeine. They do not wish Joy a good morning.
Hi, welcome in.
Hello, it's me.
Oh, hi.
It's me, Allergies Caffeine. I'm here for my daily caffeine.
All right. Do you have a particular drink that you want to get, or do you want to just give me the choice for this one?
The world is chaos. Please help me.
The world is chaos. Please help me. And I think she picks up kind of a little pamphlet from behind the counter. That's probably covered in dust because she's got it mostly memorized, but it's kind of flipping through, going, "The world is chaos." And is that going to be under W or T?
And also a bagel.
Also a bagel. Do you have a particular kind of schmear you'd like?
I think, it's me, caffeine allergies, and I'm feeling feisty. I'll have the cream cheese.
Well done. Okay, and that's going to kind of like give her a little bit of something to kind of round out in. So she's going to start making a drink that she's calling the Java Kiss. So, obviously, like, bagel goes into toaster, cream cheese, maybe a little portion of it sitting beside the toaster to kind of warm it up, make it a little more spreadable, comforting, all of that sort of thing. The coffee that goes in there is a nice light roast with cream and sugar, plus a little bit of kind of rose hip to kind of give it a little bit of sweet, flowery feeling to it as well. By the time we're done mixing that up, bagel pops up, spread the cream cheese, and package it up. And there you go. What's got you down this morning or evening, whichever direction you're coming at it from?
I don't even know anymore. It's too much, but at the same time, every day is a confrontation with new possibilities of not being me. Allergies, caffeine. What's it like not being allergies, caffeine? I ask you. What's it like to slow down?
Oh, it's interesting. There's a lot more time in the day for the things that you always wish you could have gotten around to. A lot more sleep. I can definitely tell you that. Especially since I've hired on some extra help, which should be here soon. Kind of looks around, hoping that maybe one of the baristas is going to come in a little bit early.
No such luck.
Yeah. Other than that, good time for reading. Have you read anything delightful lately, or is it all just terrible things?
Mostly nonfiction, self-improvement stuff, management books.
Hey, self-improvement's a good way to go. Is this... Oh, go for it.
I'm the best manager theoretically, but I'm not a manager. It's a hard life.
Well, is that something you're aiming to get to, or is that just an interest?
I'd like to be a manager, but I found out you can't just start being a manager.
Oh, wait. Okay.
It's a bad entry-level position.
Yeah. Does that mean that you are looking for work, or are you just trying to change industries?
This giant of a man takes out a proportionally smaller suitcase and I think does unclip it and gets out a tiny resume that just says allergies, caffeine, good at work.
Good at work. I see. So is this just a smudge on the page, or is that a colon between allergies and caffeine?
That's my middle name.
Okay. Is allergies turning any sort of like fun colors at this point, or is
I'd like to think that anything that could have gone wrong, like physically, is going wrong, but he gives no sign of sort of like being bothered by it.
Okay.
There might be a reason why he's so miserable all the time.
Well, going out on a limb here and saying, Mr. Caffeine, let's go ahead and get you kind of over to one of our wonderful little bar top tables over here. Excuse me, out of character. The bar height tables, I don't remember what they're called.
Oh gosh, I don't know the technical name either.
Y'all know the ones I'm talking about.
Standing tables, I guess, but
Standing table, but they usually have like the extra tall chairs that go with them.
Yeah, I know what you
Are they not just
mean.
called bar top tables?
They might just be called bar top tables. We'll go with that. Okay, well let's get you over here, and maybe you can kind of enjoy your morning a little bit better and think on where you might want to do some work that you're so good at. I know we're not really looking for managers around here, but hey, if you're looking for managerial stuff, maybe that's something you can think about. Maybe take a look at the morning paper and kind of wind down a little bit before you go rushing off to your day.
In a surprising mirror of the sunrise, the dim sun that does light Doskval, it seems that Allergy's caffeine is changing color almost in synchronicity as you leave him to the job wanteds in the morning newspaper. As
he picks up the newspaper and it's done in 1 second.
as another customer walks into the Midnight Joy for their morning order.
Hello, welcome to the Midnight Joy.
I'm happy to volunteer.
I'll go for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
What you see walk in is the definition of a blue collar worker. Little dirty, has a hard hat, has a metal tin lunch. I think this would be someone who has come to the place before. His name is Laszlo. He goes, good morning, Joy.
Hey there, Laszlo. Need a refill on your thermos there?
Yes, please.
Got anything special in mind for this morning?
Oh yes, let's have the most fanciful drink, just black and strong. I need to go.
All right, fair enough. Eventually you'll let me do something fun for you. And so she starts packing together a new set of grounds just to make sure she can make it as strong as bloody well possible for him. Anything to eat today, Laszlo?
No, He goes to tap the metal lunchbox and goes, wait. I ate that on the night shift. Yeah, something. Surprised me. Joy, I could have swore I brought food with me, but then I remembered I just worked all night. So yeah, that's gone.
Whew.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we would describe in the restaurant industry as a clopin going on. Like closing the night out and opening up the next.
You know everything about that.
I tell you, Joe, I swear to God, this city's falling apart. I spent all night working on pipes in one building, and today we're going over a different building. A fire escape has just fallen off completely. How does that happen?
You're kidding me. Wait, those things are like bolted into the brickwork, aren't they?
Yeah. And no reports, there's not a paper trail saying, oh yeah, this building's falling apart. It's a fairly okay building. How does that, I can't even fathom it, so.
I mean, did it get hit by a truck or a cart or something, maybe? She's also kind of scrambling to find something a little more substantial to feed him while the coffee, the machine kind of rattles and it's struggling to push liquid through how tightly packed these grounds are.
No, the work order just says fire escape collapsed. No accident report, who knows? I don't know if it was just real shoddily billed, but
well, I know you'll make it better.
Well, definitely gonna try.
Well,
or die on the job, and then I'll have one sweet payout.
And all the vacation time you can imagine.
Maybe I'll take up reading.
What kind of food do you serve alongside? I like the idea that mirroring your kind of coffee talks and your Valhallas, there's a glamour shot of the dish that you serve. So you had the Java Kiss before, and this tight. Well, it's not even an espresso because it's filling an entire flask. I'm going to call it a Kraken shot. It smells faintly of seawater in addition to the fact that it's densely packed coffee. But what's the food you serve alongside?
I think this one is kind of just a quick make, think along the lines of maybe I've taken a set of croissants that I bought yesterday because I wanted a croissant, and now I'm left with 5 more from the half dozen that I bought, and I've kind of sliced it in half and quickly made like a patty of scrambled eggs on a griddle with maybe like some bacon and like whatever cheese happens to be around that would go well with some kind of other snack or salad or something like that. So this is kind of a bacon, egg, and cheese croissant sort of situation going on. Little big, little greasy, the best.
Real bodega energy.
Bodega sandwiches are so good.
They fill you up.
Sidebar: when the first time I went to the US last year, went to Chicago, and was taken to a place where they had the bodega sandwiches, to then the craft beer place basically immediately next door for like a pint of stout alongside of it. It was the greasiest, meatiest fucking sandwich I've ever had. It was so good.
Yeah, Chicago food is the best. I say instantly gaining enemies on the internet.
Hoomst, I've watched The Bear. Anyway, with your kind of like the blue collar croissant that has been served to you, Laszlo, I assume you take it to go.
Yeah, 100%. I'm off to go. He takes a quick whiff of the coffee in the thermos. It's like, that'll get me there. Puts it all back in his lunchbox. Joy, thank you as always. And, he throws in a tip into the tip jar because...
Well, thank you as always.
And off he goes into the sunrise to work himself to death.
True American hero.
I think I might have to echo the slightly working vibe for the next ringing of the bell. Gentleman comes in who Joy will recognise as one of the regulars who comes every few weeks. He's a senior engineer of one of the Leviathan farming ships, Wally Bustat. He's in his overalls with a large sort of duffel bag. Out of the neatly kept man, but sort of large beard and woolen hat, which was a constant companion on these long treks out to sea. Looks like he's prepping to go off, given the fact that all these clothes are here. Old and worn, but kept very well, but not currently showing any of the muck that would be associated with several weeks at sea. They all smile affably and go, Miss Joy, good to see you again.
Welcome back. I suppose we won't be seeing you very much for the next couple weeks, month. How long is this trip going to be?
I've been called early, I'll say, with a big sigh, putting the bag down with all by the side of the counter. Don't know what's going on at sea, but the Leviathans are a lot more active than they've been for long since I can remember. Something's stirring them up.
Get to charge overtime for it at the very least, I would say.
Yeah, well, they don't care for the ships as much as they should, but it's a constant battle just to keep the damn things afloat.
Well, at the very least, you're out there doing the work and keeping them up, right? Mostly, anyway.
Yeah. Honestly, retirement can't come soon enough. But then I'd be bored, I guess.
I don't know. That maybe gives you an opportunity to try something else.
I think I'd miss the sea, if I'm honest. Even in its darkest parts. The nights are usually when the weather's still, watching it stretching out and mirroring the stars. I think I'd miss it.
Sure, but didn't you tell me you like to fish in your off time, or was it just the angling part and not the actual fishing that you enjoyed?
Oh yeah, God, I wouldn't eat anything fished out of Dosval Harbour. Good lord.
Fair. Well, what do you think has the Leviathans acting up? I'm landlocked, so I don't know. I feel pretty safe from them, but I worry about everybody who goes out.
Oh, they tend to have migrations now and again. Sometimes bring them closer to shore, bigger groups. So it's always a bit of a careful one in the game. You don't want to go for something too big, or it'll just pull the ship under, or attract more than a couple. Otherwise, that just gets hairy. I don't know. They've been coming close to the city over the last couple of trips than they have been for a while. I don't know. It's a bit odd, I'll admit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, how close are we talking? Because, like, I don't know. Could a Leviathan get up any of the canals or something? Or am I safe where I'm at?
Probably not. They tend to stay a little bit away from the city, but it was definitely you could see the glow of the city in the distance on the last trip, which is we usually have to go a bit further out. There's some damn fools putting up ships outside of the protective wells these days as well, which might be stirring them up. If some fool-ass pirate radio stations or something like that interfering with the forecasts, so the sigh.
Oh shit! I hadn't even thought about that. How does? You think they put that sort of thing on like a secured channel?
Kids don't know how dangerous it is out there. You've seen a Leviathan about the size of 3 city blocks surfaced. Big things.
That's enormous.
Considering Wally doesn't show up very often, but you clearly are on relatively casual terms, do you already know Wally's order?
You know, I think I would, but I'd still check with him. Do you want your usual, Wally?
Yeah, cappuccino. Take it as it's room temp. He'll take it in the. What's the equivalent for Italian for this setting? Should we go with it? I'll take it the taqueros style, room temperature, double shot, bit of chocolate on the top.
Alrighty, one low lord coming right up. And she'll go ahead and start to mix all of that. You know, letting again, kind of setting the chocolate out next to the coffee machine. I'm losing my mind here. You know, to kind of let it pre-melt a little bit so that it actually kind of mixes in nicely instead of using some of the newfangled coffee powders or, you know, pre-prepped stuff.
I was going to ask whether either in tech level or your own sense of aesthetic, whether you're the kind of person to do a foam art and what the art would be of.
I think she probably would do a little bit of foam art just for the sake of, you know, like, oh, well, this is a good customer. This is somebody who I do know very well. I think it's going to be kind of a silly little cartoon Leviathan that maybe has like more spouts than would be strictly advisable. Since these things are horror whales instead of just, you know, standard, you know, cetaceans.
It's funny, considering in the previous campaign, Escape to the Void Sea, where I had to draw a character portrait that was part Leviathan, and I was like, I don't know what that would look like. So I basically just drew like Perfect Chaos from Sonic Adventure and put them in a hat. Yeah. So...
we miss you every day, Fish.
Well, we do. Wally will chuckle, have a look at the drink. So, thanks, Miss Joy. It'll be a good trip. We'll look forward to seeing you on the Invincibles return.
He was 2 days from retirement.
Truly.
Oh no!
It's not long before eventually one of your regulars, they come in, you know, on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday kind of situation. A Kevin Pritchard, who has been a customer for quite a while, at least a month. You know, one of those people that comes once and they're like, oh, this is great. And then it becomes immediately part of their regular routine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Welcome to the show. Hey there. Hey there.
good morning. How's it going?
It is going fabulously so far. How are you doing this fine? What day of the week is it?
Oh, it's a Friday.
Okay, Friday morning. They run together.
Mm-hmm. It's strange. You didn't hear him come in. He's always so quiet. It's I've got good news actually. I'll have my my hot chocolate, please.
Sounds good to me. Do you want anything interesting in there, or just straight chocolate, a little bit of whipped cream, maybe some of that nice fruit flavored cereal to kind of spice things up?
Oh, you always encourage me to be so adventurous. I appreciate it. Surprise me. I had the mint one last time, and that was really good. A little tingly,
Sure.
maybe, but yeah.
All right, well, let's go with this then. And I think I'm going to establish that some version of Fruity Pebbles exists in this universe.
Cereal hot chocolate sounds so cute.
And kind of she'll, drizzle a little bit of whipped cream on top of the chocolate as, it kind of comes to a boil and all that sort of fun stuff. Again, using the nice chocolate instead of the powdered stuff. I think the shop has the powdered stuff, but because of the pace that this time of night allows her to take, Joy does it the quote unquote right way. You know what I mean?
As you turn away from Kevin to make this dish, it's like you don't really sense him there. It's weird because obviously it's not like you have the sixth sense or anything. You're just an ordinary person, but you can tell when people in a room, they make noise or breathe, or I don't know. So they did something electric about other people where you can tell whether you're alone or not. And you're definitely not alone. There are other people in the room aside from you and Kevin, but the moment he's out of eye line, it's like he was never there.
And is this new? Is this a change from when he's been here in the past?
No. You forget that you feel this way every time he arrives. And he arrives regularly, but it surprises you every time how much of a non-entity Kevin Pritchard is.
Okay. Then Joy has a moment when she's, stirring the things together before putting on the whipped cream, and pauses, remembering that she always forgets, and wondering why that is. And it's not quite enough to visibly shake her, but that pause would be noticeable to somebody who is looking for such thing.
Kevin Pritchard is sitting at one of the tall boys, as the chat suggests, for those kind of tall chairs at the bar, and is free kicking his legs as he is waiting for the chocolate to arrive. This man is definitely in his early 40s.
Okay. So she finishes making this hot chocolate and brings it on over to him. There you go, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
How have you been?
Oh, I've been good. Duskfall's been really kind to me. I'm still new here, but everybody I meet is so friendly.
Remind me, where did you come from before you arrived here? It's rare that we actually get people moving to Duskfall.
Oh, from it's in a it's far. You wouldn't have heard of it, but he looks into the sky and thinks like he's recalling a memory. Scotland. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's believable.
But I managed to, not noticing the sarcasm in your voice, he kind of smiles warmly. But I got a new job, is the thing I wanted to mention to you. Sorry I'm stepping on your toes, I'm just really excited.
You're good. I was saying, I don't know if it was so much sarcasm as Joy also trying to convince herself.
Sure. Yeah. I got a new job recently, which is really exciting.
new industry, or just something you're excited to get into for the first time?
Well, so the folks at the Hive were really, really good about kind of getting new people moving to Duskfall work, and they saw my previous skills, and they thought that I would make an excellent primary school teacher. For the non-British people in the audience, there's the kind of 6 to 10 kind of window for children.
Oh, okay. Well, you're... And she's trying to find a way to describe his lack of presence in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
You're... And this is me trying to describe it in a positive way.
I like that. You just kind of like hum for a while, and the career rep said that I was so much younger at heart than the others, so it would be a perfect fit for me. You know,
that's fair. That is a great way of looking at that. You definitely have the kind of enthusiasm that primary schoolers look for. Just try to make sure they don't tear you apart, so don't show a moment of weakness around them.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself to be especially strong or anything like that, but if they say that I would be a good fit, then I think I can do that. I only need to stay a couple of science lessons ahead from the kids anyway.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Ooh. Can't imagine having to teach maths.
I did want to teach poetry, but they said I shouldn't.
What is that?
Oh, it's just...
Just...
It's strange. I think they mentioned, but I don't remember. It's fine, though. I think I'd be pretty good at science. I know all about marine biology.
Well, that's something. Kind of like... It's again, like that moment in the back of your head of like, what would... I feel like anybody could teach poetry if they give it a shot. Yeah, well, maybe not. So, what did you do before that taught you so much about marine biology?
I guess I just had really knowledgeable parents. You know, you learn everything you know from... I was like, what's the word for it? Oh, homeschooled? Yes, that would be the local language for it. As by maybe by luck, maybe by skill, the language spoken in the Scotland region is different to here.
Fair enough. I know that there are some really grand traditions like that sort of thing all over the world. So, you know, especially where there's, you know, less public education or like formal systems and things like that. I never knew Scotland was like that, though.
Oh, well, you know, I always thought that I was a pretty ordinary person. You know, I'd never really been one to stand out in the crowd. But I don't know.
Fair.
Sometimes when I speak to people, they kind of look at me like I'm especially strange. I don't know. Do you think I'm strange?
No stranger than anyone else in this city. Complete straight face. The expression of somebody who has worked bar and coffee shop for a very long time.
Well, that makes me really happy to hear. Anyway, I've just been flapping my gums at you, and you look really... Is it rude to say that you look really tired?
I think if we met on the street during the daytime, it might be a little bit rude, but yeah, I'm closing out the shop and then setting up for the opening tomorrow morning. So, or I guess it's this morning now. So, yeah, no, I'll take that one. That's probably true.
So, I guess I should leave you to finish up. He finishes the remainder of his hot chocolate. It's always a pleasure coming here. I look forward to seeing what you try next time.
Fair enough. I look forward to prepping something for you next time.
Have a good morning. And
you as well.
They walk out, almost immediately followed by one of your assistant baristas walking in. Who was that?
Oh, that's one of our regulars, Kevin.
Oh, Funny.
How-
I don't recognize him.
Has any of that faded from Joy's memory at this point?
It's not like it faded. It's more like it doesn't feel like important information to you anymore.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, no worries. Got most of things prepped for the morning. We're still waiting on a delivery of, some fresh bread, and I think that she just drops into the normal morning patter, and
As we
not much more to be
fade
said.
out and move away from the midnight joy, another day in Duskfall having started. Thank you very much for everybody being willing to go and play in the mini game with me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this might not necessarily apply as much as it did when we had our previous mini game during one of the sermons at the Church of the Weeping Lady. But would folks like to vote on whether, considering how the conversations just went with everybody today, whether the magic balance has changed? For those newly joining the show, the magic balance, you see that little bar up top here? Yeah, that shift ping didn't show up for everybody else. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Is the general opinion on the two schools of magic that are currently popular within Duskfall. On one side, ocean magic, and on the other side, electrovox magic. I would love for y'all in the chat to go and type in whether you think the morning at the Midnight Joy has shifted the magic balance towards ocean, electrovox, or not at all. Get it? Just let me know when you've got it all typed in, and then on 3 I'll get you to hit enter.
Typed.
In the Roll20 chat. I mean.
Yes, please.
Typed.
Okay. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Yes. Not at all. Unchanged. Okay. So with we are a full wash. A shift towards ocean, a switch towards electrovox, and 2 votes for unchanged. Out of curiosity, Adelaide, why do you think there was a shift towards ocean there?
Mentions of what were going on with the Leviathans suggest that there is something afoot, that they're messed up and or otherwise irritated, as well as Kevin, ? Now being a regular that's somewhere we're not aware of, and yet still operating around the city.
Mm-hmm. Reed, what are your feelings about your choice in shifting the magic balance?
Because I thought that the character of Allergies Caffeine was very charged and electric, but at the same time, I thought that Captain's character, sort of like the industrial complaints through the eyes, the lens of a blue-collar worker. To me, that sounds more electrovox than it does ocean magic.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel you. But as yet,
Fair enough.
the magic balance stays unchanged for now. But who knows what might
Huge
happen?
win for centrists.
This is maybe the only setting where centrism is not a terrible thing to occur. But we move very briefly to the golden hour, where, the start of everybody's day. We're now into solid morning. Reed and Blacksmith, although you are not necessarily part of Smile the Widest, you have been called in to kind of catch up with everybody.
All right.
I would say 100% they did not arrive together.
Sure.
So I would love to know Reed's reaction to Boss showing up with more bruises and cuts than the last time they really spoke.
Yeah, because in our last session, you ran up to one of the rival gangs in the area, the Smoke Wolves, and beat the fuck out of all of them.
I think Reed will just kind of like, I'm imagining Bosk is sort of like standing in the room, the most strategic place, you know, where he sees everyone, he can like cover all the exits. And I think Reed just kind of like casually leans next to him and sort of, not the literal, well, I guess I'm gonna ask, does Bosk smoke?
No, he doesn't. That's not his vice.
Gotcha. Okay, then Reed just leans back, arms folded, and goes like, "You're looking worse for wear each time."
Some business had to be dealt with.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me about that. I'm supposed to keep an eye on you.
No, not with this one.
Thank God, because I've been getting fucking tired of keeping. God, you know, Bosk, for real, it's been nice to just do our own thing for a while, huh?
Well, about that, the proprietor of the Golden Hour, AU, the radio DJ under which we heard at the start of this episode, kind of makes his way in. I think he's probably behind the counter acting as barista. The place is open. The boss man did kind of hire you both to work together in terms of our interests, so I don't personally mind what you do when you're not on call, but are you two good?
We're fine.
Yeah, we're great.
And he'll also look at you and go, and your interests have been looked after. And he gives a very knowing look.
Actually, I think this man is reasonably well informed / connected. I heard. Oh, fucking hell.
And there's just a nod as he turns away and just looks towards the front door.
Yeah. Well, I'm at least not fearing reprisal from them anytime soon. But be careful what hornet's nest you shake, if that's all right.
I want to whisper to AU out of Bosk's earshot.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks he's a little lord. And I think it's getting to him.
Well, I mean, and I think the expression on AU's face isn't necessarily sad, but it is emotional. I would rather that he's okay doing his own thing than, you know, not being around at all.
You don't think he's going too far?
I mean, would it surprise you that I've seen him do worse?
You'd have to tell me about that so I can prepare for whatever injuries he sustains.
Yeah, we were quite a duo. Anyway. Hey, Dash, you about?
It'll be almost on par. Click of heels as Dash will return from the second floor. Definitely not just waiting to make an entrance. Though, damn, she looks like she spent most of the morning sorting out her clothes and makeup today.
AU hasn't directly addressed Adelaide, but are you already here? What is Adelaide up to?
I think Adelaide kind of arrives right on the dot when he's expecting, a meeting for the morning to happen. So, he might even... Nobody's ever quite sure if he's waiting outside until the clock strikes 8, but it's like the I am on time exactly sort of thing. And that has actually gotten, more tuned in over the last couple of days when, as he's gotten more stressed. So it's less of, oh, he's here at 8 minutes and 30 seconds. It's, no, he's walking in at 8 on the dot now. Kind of thing.
Dash will look across to, not to Adelaide, look at Bask and sigh slightly as a fun night on the tiles again, Bask.
Ooh.
had work to do, and it got done.
Yeah.
I do enjoy your work.
Yeah. I'm grateful about that. Thanks. Speaking work. I suppose I wanted to ask, how are we doing after the other day? Adelaide, would you mind telling us what happened, I suppose, yesterday at the Golden Hour?
So yesterday at the Golden Hour, Adelaide was able to get in contact with somebody who he was already thinking of going to see, but this was in a method that he had never expected, and he would not have wished on perhaps his worst enemies. In setting up the what did we end up calling it? The Vox.
Sorry, the electrogram.
The electrogram. Thank you. He was put in contact with the ghost of one Bert Graham, who he knew from college, and directed towards the location that we are now going to be headed towards.
The bunker house, apparently.
The bunker house, exactly.
And the electrogram is still here in the kind of like main area of the Golden Hour. It is off.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Covered in wards and various other inscriptions.
And it's not small. I mean, it is, at minimum size, a typewriter, which is not the smallest thing to lug around. And with the additional kind of engineering attached to it to let it receive electrovox signals and convert them into text, it's a bulky thing. But it is seemingly the only way you can sensibly communicate with Bert Graham. Yeah. Off the back of yesterday, I guess you'll be wanting to follow up with your friend, Adelaide?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Respectful, at least.
No, I appreciate it. It's just that, well, I've not been there myself, but I am of the understanding that place is not necessarily secure. Like, they take visitors, but it's not the idea that they actually have a place inside where they could, like, interrogate something was a thing I did not know until your friend had a chat with us. So it might be a little difficult to get too close.
Well, we'll do the best we can, and just be thankful you've never seen the inside of some of the garden wards at a hospital.
Yeah. Although, Reed, didn't you have a bit of a contact with them, with like the bunker house and that?
I go there for coffee every week.
All right.
Coffee's atrocious, but the
all right.
conversations are worth it.
Well, I was gonna say at least I can supply you with at least good Java. Then I don't suppose that's today that you're going.
I suppose I can swing by. Yeah.
It is unfortunately your scheduled date is tomorrow.
Tomorrow then.
Above table.
Yeah.
Well, if you think you could use the magic within your fingertips, AU says, wiggling his fingers and an electric spark of mirth going across his teeth, to get the others at least close, if not inside, so they could do a little bit of investigation.
I propose the following. I go for my conversation and my coffee, and I leave the back door open.
Hey, whatever works. But I guess if it's tomorrow, you all got time to prepare yourselves, I guess.
Have we heard back from the letter Dash sent out yesterday? Just following the revelations of that device, shall say flatly. Let's say across at it, and the blue coats.
you're going to have to remind me. Apologies.
It's more around the Spark Rights and Layla, who she's, I think, stormed off to go and send a message to.
Oh, yes. You decided to get in touch with Layla, the Spirit Wardens, and the nonsense that goes on between her and you. Yeah. Actually, a nondescript guy came up in the Spirit Warden's gear, so I knew what he was about, but he has a letter addressed directly to you, actually. And he produces it from inside his jacket. The room can see, including the blacksmith. This letter is on pretty expensive paper with a wax seal with the shape of a star in the wax stamp.
Would you mind? You have just Dash has just done her nails.
All right. I feel a little bit of an indiscretion opening the letters of a lady, but since you gave me permission,
Now, hold on. You said is that seal from who I think it is?
It's not to be.
I mean,
Just what does he want?
well, allow me to open the fucking thing, he says, smiling, and reads the letter. To summarize what's inside, it appears that Dasher Locklear has been cordially invited to a dinner. I've been trying to avoid. Has been cordially invited to a dinner at the. Getting the name. The Grindhouse in Night Market.
That's cool as hell.
It's Sheila put together the list of names of official coffee shop houses, and they're all fucking gold. So yes,
Thank you.
Dashiell Locklear has been cordially invited to an evening dinner at the Grindhouse in Night Market for a conversation of business matters with the Spirit Wardens. She may bring a +1.
Do they have very bad horror plays at the Grindhouse?
It's surprisingly, how to put it, mundane as a venue. It's one of those things where it's like, this is the most ordinary thing you have ever seen in your life, but there is such an aura of menace from the scene, or like an aura of tension from the scene. You can't help but think what might be out of view.
Gotcha.
I'll need an advance. Dash will need an advance on her pay packet this month. If you Dash needs to go shopping for a new outfit.
Well, I guess I know what you're going to be spending your day doing then, Miss Locklear.
Bask, would you mind joining Dash on this one? And as the professional leader of the Forge.
I will. God damn, I haven't had to dress up in God knows how long.
I'm trying to just remember from above the table points. Do we know that Bask had the massive falling out with the star, or did he just keep that mostly to himself?
He did not mention it to anyone here.
He has
didn't
not.
think so. So as you might add, you two were on good terms last time we met. It might be somewhat beneficial.
He's gonna stay blatantly silent on that.
Nice.
Can I share what I read in Bergamont's journals with
Of course. You can do what you like.
Yeah, no, I think Reed brings up the fact that the Weeping Lady is doing some, trying to form an Inquisition, I guess, and, is targeting people over demon accusations, which we all know are completely reasonable and not at all, exploitable.
Ooh, might be an interesting time to invoke one of my other bonds then. who's up till this point been kind of a little obscure, and so I'd like to fill in some space on her.
Well, we do have the time today to go and follow up on personal leads, so absolutely, would love that.
You said the Weeping Lady, huh? I got a friend, just a friend, kind of gives Bosk a side-eye look, from higher society who takes her worship of the Weeping Lady very seriously. Very kind woman who wants to spread the wealth a bit. By the name of Ethelyn Knight. She's very, very sympathetic to people on our end of society, as I said, but she might be able to give us some information about the inner workings of her church, if we ask her in the nicest way possible.
Sounds great. It's funny that you'd, in all our time knowing, you've never asked me what I think about the church.
Well, I try to keep my mind out of religious areas. It's just an option. It's not usually what I go to her for.
Dash'll bite. So what is your opinions on your church at the moment, Reed?
Well, the more I know, the less I do about it, the more I realize that I did not sign up for this kind of work. It's what I find most interesting is that the Weeping Lady is two at the same time, both rich and poor, both needing care and giving it, the philanthropist and the pauper. But what do the rich need the Weeping Lady for?
Well, like I said, every time that Ethelyn's tried to engage me about it, it's been about, how can I, contribute to society, and how can I get rid of that which I have and make other people more comfortable.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how I actually got connected with her. She's got a lot of sympathies for the lower classes, like I said, and takes her last name very seriously. As I mentioned, she's part of the Knight family. That's very much spelled with a K-N-I-G-H-T.
That's the Dash in her profession's relatively familiar with the various witch-burning groups of Dosfall, and the church hasn't been high up on that list. Certainly not in recent times. It seems like a more recent change.
Maybe so. Maybe she's trying to fix some of the sins of the past then.
Oh, sounds like there's still a lot of sins in the present from the things in Father Bergamot's book. Especially the thing where they want to basically hunt people down.
Mm.
From what I hear, the father, well, he's an asshole.
Oh, yes.
And I think
Henley told quite the story when he got back.
yes, no, Henley would have told you everything. And I think at the moment when you were mentioned like chasing people down, you all just remember the encounter you had with Detective Abel Islington and watching them as they put a handcuff around a one Ben Whitworth and took them away to who knows where.
How did Bosk look when saying, like, yeah, I heard all about that, Reed?
I mean, I think he has kind of a grimace face at almost all times. He has to protrude or project a certain image to the world. Like I think he does roll his eyes at a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he's not a fan, obviously. And I'll even say there might be a twinge of bemusement, since Reed is very much, you can't kill people kind of thing, you gotta do the right thing kind of stuff. And the father did not share that image, really, according to what he heard. So,
Right. Well, it sounds like you've got things to be getting on with today. I mean, if you need anything from me, more than happy to help out however I can. But I suppose we're going to have to bide our time until your coffee date, Quadrature.
So it seems.
And so we enter into a little bit of free time for everybody. We'll go relatively quick because I want to resolve some of these before we go into our break. But basically, tell me where you want to go. If there is a thing where, you know, circumstances are called into question, we'll roll some dice about it. And then we'll conclude with the dinner party, or at least an invited evening dinner between Smile the Widest and the Spirit Wardens. So, before the evening, who would like to have their scene first?
I can go first if no one else wants to.
For sure. Where you going? What you doing?
I think Reed is going to visit a bond of theirs. A member of the Hive called Stockpile the Homie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
what kind of vibe is Stockpile the Homie so I can soundtrack this? I think I can guess, though.
A groupie.
Okay.
And another, I guess, detail about them has an affinity for keys and loves wondering what they might open.
Affinity for keys and, sorry, finish the second part of that sentence for me again?
And what they might open.
Okay. I even probably have a token for this. Assuming, especially considering the homie is part of their name. Yeah. In the city streets of Doskval, you know where to find him. Is Stockpile the homie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I walk up to his stand, and I think his stand is not in a pretty part of town. Like he's part of the Hive, but he has his Hive things and his collection and storefront things. He procures a lot of stuff, medical stuff for Reed.
Hey, Reed, my G, what's going on, dude?
The Weeping Lady be with you.
Always. What you buying?
I'm buying. Hey, have you come across any bad bandages lately? I've been trying to do some research. I think there's a disease on the streets, you know how it is, and people are down, and I need to find out what is up. So, you got any dirty bandages? Any shit I can use?
He scratches his head in bemusement. You mean used?
Preferably, yeah.
I mean, as a member of the Hive, he elevates his tone of voice slightly. We're a reputable merchant settlement where we are offering only the cleanest and newest medical supplies for those in need. For the right coin, of course.
Yeah, so if I pay you less, will you give me less quality?
Jesus Christ, man. I mean, that's a really weird ask. To be honest with you, I'm not really in the business of used rag, used needles kind of thing. People are usually asking for new ones, maybe filled with stuff, if that's what you're looking for.
And then it sounds like you need to expand into the area of scientific research. You want to help me, right?
I mean, I can try and help you, but it's going to take some time to procure, I guess, if I'm running around trying to gather bandages.
Okay. What about this? You give me the usual, and I'll tell you juicy thing that might get you some standing in the Hive, Miss Stockpile. And in return, you tell me where I can find some bodies.
Look, no, I mean I can. All I'm saying, mate. All I'm saying is that I'm not going to exactly have a dirty bandage pile in the inventory, he says, gesturing down an alleyway. But I guess if you give me some time, I can knock around the local, sore bones and that. see what's going on. Is there like a specific ailment you're trying to look into, or is just any bloody rag your kind of energy?
This is where Reed's like front kind of like is poken through and goes like, it's new. It's a new thing.
Well, okay.
But not too wet, please. Still need to use them.
Okay. He pulls a pained face. He's like, that's gross. I'm gonna go roll 1d10 for this guy. I think it would have been more if it was something more easily within his remit,
Yeah.
but he'll do his best. An 8. He finds a thing for you. I guess I'm going to have to ask you what you are looking for. Or like who you are looking for with what things you were obtaining here.
Right, I think it would be. I think Stockpile can lead Reed to. Maybe there's like a place in the city where, you know, people who are rejected from the hospices end up. And there's some, you know, good materials to be obtained there.
Okay. Look, mate, I'll tell you what. Instead of me going around and rooting around in goodness knows where to bring you some sodden rags, how about I go and take you to some of the chop shops I know, some of the Sawbones people I know, and maybe they'll be able to help you more direct, I guess.
Stockpile Thomas? Sorry, Stockpile Thomas. Stockpile the homie, I never thought you'd ask me out on the date.
And I told you never to call me by my first name. He smiles.
This is the one blackmail I have over you, then.
I think you'll find, raising his voice up to faux posh again, I think you'll find that if you end up upsetting members of the Hive, it'll be awful difficult for you to go and buy the things you need.
Yes, well, the Weeping Lady forgives you and every sin you've acted out before this moment just now.
Well, it'd be nice to see the mercy of the Weeping Lady be able to cover my bills. All right, follow me. And he takes you to how sorry of a state is this particular place?
I'm thinking like outside of the philanthropy spheres of the Weeping Lady, of established sick houses, it's gotta be bad.
Okay, it's pretty sad. All right.
Yeah. And I think like too, because I don't want to like get too much into detail of how gross the shit has to be.
Sure. Just with more in terms of like you know, how easily they are being seen to, how severe the circumstances are. Pretty severe, and at least they are. I guess they do not have access to the kind of curative magic that places like the Weeping Lady could provide, and as a result, it's just difficult. It takes time to heal broken bones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think once we're there, Reed just kind of like says, "Thank you, Stockpile the homie. You can go back to selling all your legitimate goods, and I thank you for a continued cooperation. The Weeping Lady thanks you."
Jesus, that's it. We walk through the whole town together, see the sights, and you get to this location, and you're just like, well, goodbye then.
Do you want to share a pus-covered beer? I don't know what you want.
Yeah, fine. It's fine.
If you want to ask me out, Stockpile the homie,
no charge. Just hey, you know what? As long as you don't ask me for something that's still technically a biohazard, this is on the house for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now,
right.
I'll give... You know that I'm good to you, so I'll leave you with this. The Weeping Lady, and especially Bergamo, they've got it out for you. The Hive.
What? Do you know why? He looks genuinely confused. Do you know why?
I want to say I know Bergamot's as good as that. And I think it has to do with demons. That's all I can tell you.
he... Everybody, I think most people in the criminal element in Duskval know what a demon is and what a demon is capable of doing. He goes pale. Oh, fucking hell. Well, thanks for the info, I fucking guess. But if it helps, I've not had anything to do with any of that shit. But yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. He's sweating slightly as he hastily excuses himself.
Yeah. Turns out you don't need that much of a reason for a crusade, right?
Hmm.
And I think Reed sort of like rolls up up their sleeves and puts on some clean gloves and just gets to work.
Mm-hmm.
Spends the entire day actually performing care work here.
Now, you have the opportunity to make a big change here without having to make a roll. In the process of you healing people at this establishment, do you use any magic?
For the first time in their life, no. This is all hand-done surgery, just like by the book, well, not even by the book, just like street medic stuff without the snap my fingers, you're healed aspect to it.
Noted. Thank you very much. And we move from that scene. Who would like to go next?
I'm happy to snap in at this point.
Sure. What are you doing? Where are you going?
I think after some voxing ahead, Dash will be arriving in carriage to one of the more prestigious tailors, for the term, won't it? In it's not the posh. I can't remember what the posh district's called now. It's
White Crown is like the most posh. There's like 6 towers for academics, but yeah.
Yeah, probably the former. Some calling ahead so that they know that she's coming. I should be making requirements for a dress this evening that's got to be functional but flashy in a quite turgid environment. So it's going to be need to be somewhat practical, but still needs to be showing respect and showing off.
Yeah. You find a place, and it's kind of tacky, the energy this place has, but the items in the window of the tailored work are phenomenal. Staying just on the practical side on the tasteful side of racy, but your previous years moving through the streets and parkouring knows that you could move in one of these. Welcome to the Fashion Victim. How can I help you today?
Good afternoon. Dash would like to make a purchase or make an order. I need something somewhat quick, so I'm having to unfortunately expedite the normal process.
Don't worry, darling. Here at the Fashion Victim, the proprietor of this place has a lot of belts, and as he has his hand behind his back as he was kind of like bowing to you upon entry, and then your mention of it being expedient, he pulls his hand from behind his back, and it's got like these attachments on the back of the hand with like razor sharp scissors. It reminds you of Edward Scissorhands above table, of that kind of energy.
Yeah.
We work on an express service here. Shall we take some measurements?
Perfect. So eyes glittering somewhat.
You are pulled into the depths of this fashion boutique. Go and roll me. You can either have something appropriate and non-hindering, or something extravagant with an advantage, but the amount of stress of silver it will cost you will be higher. D6 silver stress for regular, D8 silver stress for extravagant.
Oh, extravagant then, hi.
Go and roll me D8 stress, please. Silver stress, please.
Okay. Let's see what this does to
Yeah, this is shopping in this game. No money. You roll against silver stress. Okay, marvelous. Now go and mark that 6 silver stress and go and give me a fallout roll.
I do have a mitigation and
Of one? Absolutely. Then it's 5 silver stress.
I also get 6 stress every time I have to buy something.
Hit that fallout button, baby. Oh,
that is under, I believe.
yes.
Oh no, that's
there is a hold on. There's a specific button. Let me. Does it
apologies.
fire? There we go.
Right,
Oh, it did it to me via GM. Interestingly,
No
both my roll and yours were over 5. You are fine. You can afford
Wonderful.
this. Okay.
I'd love to see Dash have like a Britney moment.
Just running out with the stress in her arms, jumping from rooftop to rooftop.
I'm gonna have to. So this dress gives you. What do you want to? What do you want to say with this dress? He says while measuring you, selecting fabrics simultaneously. What do you want to say with this dress?
Listen to what I have to say and adore me.
You will have. Bum, 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 bum. Sorry, I'm looking at your stress tracks for stuff. That's why it's jumping back and forth. Apologies. Gosh, you already have 2 reputation stress. That's great. Yeah, this thing will give you, while you wear it, an additional point of reputation resistance.
Okay.
And it offers a tag as well. Oh yes, cool. You know how the weapon tag brutal will let you roll twice and pick the highest for a weapon?
Yep.
This is the tag Razor Wit. So if you make social rolls that deal outgoing stress while you wear this, you can roll twice and take the highest. We will find if there is a sensible place to go and put that on your sheet. For now, I will just physically write it down, but note it wherever you feel that it would fit for you.
Yeah, I'll stick it in the equipment. I feel it's probably something dark with a mixture of like silks and let's go with a veil. A veil's always a good look.
Oh yes,
lots of now or Muslim.
Gauze,
Yes.
yeah. Muslim's a relatively heavy material. Maybe we're thinking of like an organza.
Yes, that's what I'm after. Yep.
So brutal, but for social roles. Yes. Okay. Marvelous. And yeah. There is a fade to black with the sound of slashing and sewing machines running and pins being inserted and removed. And we step out. You step out of the fashion victim, ready. I assume you're not wearing it to go, but you have a very tasteful bag with the gear inside. Excellent.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on. Who are we focusing on next? Go ahead.
Go to Basque just because he has something similar in mind.
Mm-hmm.
Though I don't think because he also needs an outfit because he does not dress nice ever.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that there is a seamstress or something that Basque collects protection on?
Sure. We can do that.
He'd probably go there to have them make an outfit for him.
A much more kind of less high market kind of area of town.
Yeah.
Cool. It's this place generally does more alterations and repairs rather than tailoring stuff from whole cloth. But they can.
I'm sure they will for me.
Oh, good afternoon. Welcome to the spinning wheel. Good afternoon, the blacksmith. Is it that time of month already?
No. I'm here as a patron today.
Well, that's great. She smiles, slightly strained. And what can we do for you today?
I need an outfit. Something nice, respectable.
Okay. Well, this is more of an alterations place. I can. We do have fabric rolls here to make something new, but that might be a little bit more. She fishes to see whether she wants to say the word or not, and she has to. This is her line of business. It'll be more expensive if you need something made from whole cloth, but I can alter something you've already got to be more appropriate.
No, I think we'll need something new.
Okay, give me
But-
a. Oh,
If you do this for me, you will not have to pay nearly as much next month for my services.
I think she mouths nearly as much rather than saying it out loud. Mild incredulity. Well, who am I to turn down work? That will still be a D6 silver stress. She does not say in character.
Yeah.
Marvelous. Go take that silver stress, please, and then roll for fallout.
Okay, real quick, because I haven't had to do this in long enough time or I don't remember.
Mhm.
The pips I have filled in for the stress, does that deduct from it?
Oh, right. You have resistance in silver? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you have 2 resistance silver, so that would flat reduce from the total. So instead of
Okay.
taking 3, you only take 1.
Cool. I was making sure the first one doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only ones that fill in. Cool.
I would still love you to make a fallout roll, please. You are pretty
Okay.
stressed. You are currently at 9.
I mean, it's what it is.
That is under 9, that 4. You get the there is a temporary you get temporary reputation fallout actually.
Okay.
Not a silver fallout of how should we put it? He's gone soft.
Oh.
The idea that you are trying to, the fact that you are taking money from this community, but then also trying to interact with it like that's normal, is not a thing that is sitting with people correctly. You can't do both. You can either keep it, you can either integrate yourself into the community, or you can extort it. You cannot have both. So they are assuming that you are relenting on the kind of extortion side of things until you kind of cement your feelings on it one way or another.
Okay. And this dinner thing, that's like tonight, right?
Mm-hmm. And she makes it immediately. She makes it for you. It takes a while. You'll have
Well,
it
Megan
by
could-
the time that the scene occurs, but yeah.
Then yeah, just that's it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll walk out and again, permanent grimace, because that's what he's trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't know about this reputation problem. I'm sure it'll come up later.
No worries. Since you took a minor fallout, we will remove that silver stress from you. And you know, he's gone soft. The people you're extorting find you inconsistent. You will have a +1 difficulty on the next social roll you have in dealing with your targets, quote unquote.
Okay.
Marvelous. Last, but by no means least, Adelaide, what are you doing in your time leading up to this evening?
So I think that Adelaide, if you don't mind, because I know I kind of threw that at you, is going to go and try and link up with Lady Ethelyn.
Absolutely.
Specifically because, you know, he's while he is, still feeling a bit like an outsider, like this situation is very much to do with him. And while he does try to steer clear of religious stuff, it's not his area. He does understand that this is a thing that Reed is struggling with, and that may also help the current situation. And so wants to see if there's any sort of information that he could get that, may prove useful, either now or later.
This makes sense. Where do you go and meet your contact? I guess in the posh part of town.
Yes. I didn't establish exactly where she lives. I think that her family may even technically live on, I can't remember if there are noble families that live on the island that's just offshore, or if that's just the emperor.
Sure. I mean, who cares what the canon law is for this location, to be honest?
Yeah. I know she does not. So I think it would be interesting if that's traditionally where her family lives, but she has skewed that to a certain extent.
Okay. Place is still upmarket, but it's not holy tier. Let's go with this then.
Right.
And
I think he dresses up a little bit. Like, not a lot, a little bit, but hey, he's being respectful of where in the world he is, and so like he puts on the nicer coat and the slightly less tattered vest.
I managed to go and find a token in my collection for Ethelyn Knight. My dear, it's good to see you. Where have we met? Is it outdoors or indoors?
I think she meets him at the front door. So like he meets a servant initially at the gate, and then is brought to the front door, and then she can make the decision from there whether he's invited inside or not.
Oh, there's a waiting room for tea. Of course there is.
Okay, excellent.
Yes, it's good to see you. It's been a while. How are you faring? Still bringing the fight to the people?
Well, doing my best in that regards, yes. As for how I'm faring, well, it's interesting. I know that. Well, think back on our college years. Did you ever meet a gentleman, one of my cohort by the name of Burt Graham?
Oh.
I remember. Did you ever cross paths?
The name does ring a bell. I don't think I talked to him in person, but you did speak highly of him. A bit of an academic.
Man. Yes. We grew up in the same sort of areas, so he was also the child of a laborer, but kind of went the more, as you say, the academic route after things were done.
What did he do? What did he focus on again? You know this. It is. I don't think at the time, because this was distance. The technology of this has changed a little bit, but essentially what you would call the academic equivalent of the arcane arts, studying some apocryphal texts and being like, oh, isn't it fascinating? I'm thinking like anthropology, but seeing if we can cast the spells that they had in those books.
Sure. It was mostly a focus of the anthropological study of ancient religions and their magics.
Oh,
so
goodness.
I don't know whether that works well for you or not. I know you've mentioned that it's come up rather often. We're a dedicated follower of the Weeping Lady. But
yes. Well,
we've been hearing some interesting things about how they're interacting with magic these days.
I mean, between you and me, the nature of the Weeping Lady and the magic that, well, not I'm still actually been only learning small bits and pieces myself as of late, as I've been trying to integrate myself into helping the community a bit more. But most of the magic that we as an organization do are passed down, oratory, not so often written, for people to be able to heal their kind. And it feels like getting closer to the Weeping Lady is being able to heal like she could.
That's very interesting, because I've got a friend who prides themselves on being able to heal folks, and So I definitely hear what you're saying there.
Hmm.
He kind of looks uncomfortable and he says, I guess what I'm looking at here is more of that kind of old school religion. And this is part of why I'm asking about Graham, or Bert, excuse me. I have a feeling that he found something that may tie back to some of the older texts or legends that maybe some people weren't exactly comfortable with. Have you heard any rumors to those effects? I'm not trying to question your beliefs or anything like that. That's not my way. But I don't know. There's just something afoot, and if I'm being blunt, I think Bert, at the very least, is in some very serious trouble and might be beyond some people's help at this point, if you catch my drift.
I would love a compel roll from you. This feels like it's probably compel high society.
Sounds good. Let me check something. I am going to go ahead and use force of personality to pretend like I have high society. Because I definitely have compel.
Yes. Hey, that's a full 3d6. Good odds, good odds.
Yeah. Let's roll that. So total of 3 dice, and let's go ahead and
That's not showing up for me yet. If you've hit send.
I haven't rolled it yet because I'm considering maybe a devil's bargain here.
Oh yeah. You want to push it up to 4?
Because he did just mention to her that, this is essentially tip his hand a little.
Okay.
So
I will offer you a devil's bargain.
Okay.
You will get an additional die on the roll. I guess additional effect is not really a thing that this game has, so but it just so happens the way that the fates lie, Evelyn is also somebody on the list to be taken in for questioning, unbeknownst to you.
Ooh. Actually, I don't think I want to take that one because I've already burned one bond. So I think I'm just going to stick with my 3
bond
dice.
still exists, just in a different
does.
form. But yes,
Valid. Yeah, I think I am going to go. Ooh. Feels bad turning down a devil's bargain once I've asked for one.
no,
but
it's
yeah.
fine. That's what it's for, to make you actually think ooh, does it need to be that juicy right now? Maybe later. So hey.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna stick with 3 dice, and we'll see how she rolls.
That's a
Hey,
full
okay.
success, baby.
Okay.
All right, with a
not
9.
question it.
Well, my training is I did. She, in a way that does not happen in those kind of Regency novels where 2 people of different genders, if they're going to be talking, have to do it with the door open, otherwise people will talk. She goes and closes the door.
Ooh.
I did hear. Well, it was very it was a little unusual. During my last lesson with the church in terms of practicing healing magics, I had a question. I was doing my reading, and funnily enough, I managed to come across this text on marine biology, and I was like, oh, well, it's not part of my required reading, but it sounds fascinating. I'll look into it. And it mentioned leviathans, and that they have a leviathan song to be able to communicate in the water. They vibrate in a way to kind of send this wave of sound that travels through the water faster or more efficiently than it could in air, to reach each other. And I was like, wow, so things in the ocean are able to provide sounds and they have songs that they know and can share. And I was like, that was fascinating. That sounds so much like the songs that we learn and can share. So I brought it up to my teacher, and the response was very stern. It was very firmly said that what Leviathans do and are is entirely unrelated to the nature of the Church of the Weeping Lady and what we do. Like, the magic we do is apparently, according to her, entirely different. But I don't believe her. Not with the way that she responded. It was so immediate and so stern. I mean, of course, I said, oh, I'm sorry, and I didn't push it further, but you wouldn't vehemently deny something that serious unless there was something more complicated at hand.
Of course. Well, and who's to say that, well, I mean, so many things in the world are related in some way. You know, it's just not a direct relation. And he's very obviously trying to, like, give her an out here. You know, give her something to hold on to.
Yes, of course, I wouldn't dare of spending time looking into something that is unrelated to my studies. I'm a good student even in my older years.
Oh, of course.
It's funny. I don't know why I maybe it's because I mentioned the book, and she goes over to the bookshelf and kind of fishes it out. Haha. And highlights or like flicks to the section on kind of like a Leviathan behavior. Apparently, it's been on record that they have been able to learn new songs over time. Because obviously, when you're just communicating with each other and you know the words that everybody else knows, you don't need to learn any new words, any new songs. But apparently, it was, I think, related to their diet. It's a little confusing. I don't quite understand how the two things are related. But apparently, as their diet widened, the newer things that they kind of ate to be able to fuel themselves, they learned new songs.
You don't say.
Now, I you know, it makes me fearful for the people who are out there trying to fish up Leviathan oil and blood for our services, because they are definitely putting their lives in the line. Imagine if a Leviathan ate one.
Well, I feel like gotta have been at some point somebody dead. Not to be grim about it, but is that kind of thing you could? Well, I mean, as long as they're only eating normal things, that would be. Would you? Oh man. Thank you very much.
Yes. Well, all I know is that I wouldn't want to invite one to tea. I don't think there'd be a good conversationalist.
I think you're entirely correct there.
She's desperately trying to diffuse the miasma of tension she's accidentally put herself into. It's so good to see you again. I barely ever see you these days.
I will try my best to make it by with something a little less heavy sometime soon.
Oh, of course. And if you do see Bert, again, tell them I said hi. I don't know if they'd remember me, but it'd be nice if they did.
I absolutely will. All right. Well, ta for now. And I think that maybe they have a thing where, like, he'll kiss her on the hand, but it's a gloved hand.
Oh,
you
yes.
know, it's gotta be, proper.
I think she opens the door before you say before you say goodbye, because otherwise the suggestion of even this behind a closed door would be too scandalous for her to handle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and that is a delightful little tidbit that he is going to take back to the others. And terrifying.
The Leviathan That Came to Tea, the famous children's book. And so time passes, and eventually it gets to be around the time that was established in the letter sent by the Spirit Wardens. The Grindhouse out in Char Hollow is at this time of night, well, as famously known for having such a sense of tension to it. In the tall glass windows, you can already see a stern man sitting there patiently. The Star. But we will see that conversation on the other side of the break. We are overdue a 5-minute break. Everybody, let's get up and stretch, and we'll see you all on the other side. Be right back. And welcome back to the latter part of Chant of the Void Sea. This track, titled Mysterons. We find ourselves at the Grindhouse, one of the cafes as part of the coffee shop union. A fancy establishment, but gosh, the tension here is high. We meet on both. Does Dash and the blacksmith arrive together?
I probably think so.
Okay.
God, yeah, we'll have arranged a pre-meeting point to head together. Like, closeness between our two gangs makes sense on that.
Mm-hmm. And sorry, go ahead.
No, just yeah, that works for me.
This building is quite large. There's a large glass window surrounding 2/4 of the building that give a really inviting view to the space. But the property is so much larger than just this view, and you don't see any other windows. But still, waiting at the bar is a familiar face to, at the very least, the blacksmith, and in the past also Dasher Locklear. The Star, both current head of the Spirit Wardens and, well, the Unseen don't like to talk about themselves very much, but they are a big player within Duskval's various and sundry gangs. He's sitting there alone, nursing a whiskey. Oh.
Could we have a momentary flashback? As Dash, who's mentally preparing himself for this conversation, remembers the first meeting with the Star, which was during the attack on Aunt Angie's house.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was post our fight and setting up of the antenna. And I believe Dash's words to the Star after crashing in slightly late to the party, post-demonic possession, covered in blood, soot presumably from Electrovox discharge, brandishing a knife, saying something to the effect through clenched teeth, "If you hurt any of my friends, Dash will tear your throat out."
Mm-hmm.
Then back in scene.
It seems you both have history. Making your way in, there is somebody to check. You show there were invitation reservation slips in the letter.
Which will show.
And the space inside is, well, it's clean, it's vibrant, and there are spaces next to the Star to sit down.
Okay. And Dash calmly walk across. When it's noticed, greetings, Star. It's been quite a while.
Yes, it has, hasn't it? I think this was the voice I was using for him before. It seems you've changed a little since I have spoken to you last.
Duskfall's a changing city. Dash had to move with the times.
It certainly is. And it's good to see you as well. He is about to say a name and swallows it. Blacksmith.
Star. Just tabletop thing. I would say Bass does not look like his normal self.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was under the impression this might be a more dressed up affair.
And it is. The star is
Okay.
dressed very nicely.
Okay, just making sure.
Oh, yeah.
Bask is currently wearing, I think the best way to put it, it looks like something inspired by like a dressed up military uniform. Like it doesn't have like all the accoutrement, but like the basis for that kind of thing.
It's double-breasted. There are maybe epaulets.
Yep. His sledgehammer probably sticks out, but he's got it.
Mm-hmm.
And not wearing a hat like he normally does.
What's under there? You balding?
No. It is. It's not messy per se, but it's like I don't think he does a whole lot with it. Just comb it in direction, call it a day.
Fair enough.
It's got the Mo from the Three Stooges bowl cut.
It's a mystery. Fan artists draw underneath it. Is what's underneath the blacksmith's hat.
It's been a Ratatouille this whole time.
Yeah. Is also, yes, it's good to speak to you again, blacksmith. I trust the last couple of days have been treating you well.
They've been busy.
Well, that is partially what I'm here to talk with you about, but let's go somewhere a bit more private for the conversation at hand. And he raises a hand, and one of the staff members comes up and is like, "Would you be like to show into your dinner table, sirs and madame?" "Yes, please." And you are taken through into a space in the back. And it's not that the conversation here is raucous. There are many people here, but the place is designed to just give an increased amount of privacy. There are large partition screens of kind of frosted deep green glass. The seats are of this thick plush material that just stops sound dead. It's booth seats that are split quite far apart. And sitting at one of the booth seats at the other end of this kind of space in the dining hall is another face that both of you recognize. Ah! Oh, it's so good to see you again. I'm so glad you took up my dinner invite, says Layla Mays.
Dash will step over and take her hand. So, always a pleasure, Layla. Dash had a promise to keep to you, and keep it she shall.
She holds your hand too long and looks into your eyes too long. Oh, I have waited for ages to be able to have a private dinner with you. I suppose I would have preferred it if it was one-on-one. We have to deal with the men, I suppose.
She'll nod. Business first, as always.
I like the dress on you, by the way. It fits your figure.
Dash stumbles over the compliment, but what's Layla wearing? Is she just in her standard?
It's God. I will stop short of giving her the Virgin Killer sweater.
No.
But it is like a kind of cable knit with the turtleneck.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that one hip TikTok dress that went around for a little bit?
Yeah, there's no cutout. I think is the small mercies of this episode is not the weeping lady, but the fact that Layla Mays is not in too racy of an outfit. But it is, yeah, I think it's one of those things that's kind of like everything in this outfit that she's wearing is not racy inherently, but the color, the cut, the close-fitting nature of it, she could have very much worn this on a date and not a business circumstance. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Shoe bots. Shoe.
There we go. It is worn with intention, indeed. I think the turtleneck is white. The kind of like bolero style jacket, so it's like it's cropped to sit just at the ribs and not full length, is in black with a kind of frill around the sleeves.
Dash will return the compliment, doing a best turn on the charm as enhanced by ocean magic as it might be, and compliments and say that it's wonderful to see yourself not in your work attire.
Oh, I would wear anything you told me to, Dash Locklear. We came here for a particular specific conversation, and it isn't this one. While we're ordering, let's get down to business, shall we? And dinner, kind of the process of ordering dinner occurs. We won't dwell on it. Now, I'm sure you're already aware, but yesterday there was a broadcast made on several towers owned by the Bluecoats. Do you happen to know what was in that broadcast? The star says, looking at both of you.
Weaponized Electrovox, speaks Dash. Undercut with a extremely dangerous level of ocean magic backing it up.
Well, from what I understand, the ocean magic involved was not the Bluecoats' remit. From my intelligence, they seem to have been intentionally avoiding using that school of magic in their affairs. But, go ahead.
We became privy to some additional information following the broadcast.
Yes, go ahead.
We've come into possession of an item called an electrogram, which shed a bit of light on something that might be linked with what the Bluecoats are up to.
The star raises a hand. Please don't distract from the matter at hand, Dashir Locklear. There was ocean magic involved in that broadcast, but it was not from the Bluecoats. It said your name. And you remember when you made that pact with Volpurgis Noct to go and possess that tower, and it took over its system, and it talked to you through that loud enough for anybody who was in range of that to hear. I would love for you to use a system like this one day to project your voice, Dashir Locklear, Volpurgis Noct said.
Yes. Dash will swallow slightly. Dash had to take the tower down. It was the only way I could think in a rush moment to stop it.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Oh, it must have been so brave of you to go and do that at the moment. But I have to say, using demonology like that is a big no-no under current circumstances. Layla May is waving a finger wag sardonically at you. Why, if I was there, if any of the members of the Spirit Wardens were there, we would have had to shoot you on sight. You were very lucky.
Dash nods slightly, but looks and addresses the star. My Dash's short-term attempt to sabotage, notwithstanding, the Bluecoats have created a weapon that's potentially going to just span the city. They can't have done it alone. This has got the spark rates written on it too.
Indeed. From my collection of workers from across the various gangs and organizations of Duskfall, they have indeed been paying the spark rates a very large sum of money to establish these new structures, and I also agree that what they're using it for is dangerous. I wasn't present for this altercation between you myself, but from other witnesses at the scene, they said that while that noise was played, they felt nothing, and then afterwards felt everything. And it might have crossed both of your minds at the time, but then you were under more pressing matters. That was in a residential area that altercation occurred. There were countless people just living their lives who were also hit by that effect.
I, the player, need to be reminded of something.
Mm-hmm.
In that altercation, the person we were dealing with,
Mm-hmm.
whose name I can't remember. Yeah. No, not Ben Whitworth, the other one.
Oh, Abel Islington, the detective.
Yeah. Yes. Isn't Abel under the star?
The Abel is a Bluecoats member.
Yeah,
So,
but also are they not part of the unseen?
I guess ultimately most individuals will be involved with. Also above table, the other members of the unseen that we know by name were the Tower, and in our little world building group document, we do know that the Moon also exists as a person. So unless Abel Islington at some point decides to reveal that they have a Taro-themed alter ego, they are not a direct member of the unseen.
All right, just
but
making sure.
reasonable question. No worries.
Yeah, it's good. There is also a second complication, Dash would say. We encountered the entity responsible for the coffee shop fallout a few days ago. We were mostly due to the intervention of the deployment of that Electrovox attack. We were unable to stop the Bluecoats taking it.
The star looks not sad, but a bit like rueful, maybe. I suppose I should apologize to you briefly, Blacksmith.
Oh?
Yes, when we last talked, it has seemed to have resolved that the information I gave you is incomplete. Ben Whitworth was, at the time, a person that one of my informants highlighted as fitting the description, matching the person who was at the Renaissance roast that day when they exploded into nothingness, but I have heard reports of another 7 instances of people who match that description, all with different names. It's a bit of a conundrum, isn't it?
A split entity?
Yeah, I don't understand how.
Ben himself, it was strange. I was expecting something to have that, with that level of power, to have something you pick up, but until he revealed themselves, there was nothing to sense.
It was almost like you didn't really remember anything about them until you met them in person.
Nod.
I say not in character voice intentionally.
Yep. Sorry.
No, I was like, that was a little gravelly. Hold on, I should be better at kind of keeping a distinction between the character voices. I'm sorry.
No.
It was a nice callback. That's good. We're good.
Yeah.
I will say, Bascos, I have further questions. Simply because I've now had the displeasure of feeling nothingness twice in my life. So, the Bluecoats took Ben, or whatever the hell it is. Are they working with him? It? Or something?
Oh my, that's a really good question. I wonder. Well, first things first, they have been incredibly aggressive on investigating the matter, when really this kind of supernatural occurrence is our remit. We have an agreement. When things of the supernatural are involved beyond just mortal matters, that is the realm of the spirit wardens, and yet they have been very insistent of adding this to their case roll. I don't know if they're necessarily allied in that kind of way, but they're definitely very invested on being able to understand or find this person. But it seems that they haven't done a very good job, because there are apparently another 6 out there. She smiles in it's glee. She's so amused by this. What was it like feeling nothingness, by the way? I'm just so full of thoughts. It might be a bit of a reprieve to have no thoughts, head empty.
I think at this point you can look to see Bask has taken some utensils and squashed them in his hands.
Why didn't we get a resist roll here? I think she's intentionally trying to get under your skin. You revealed to her that this event was traumatic for you, and she's like, oh yay, a knife to twist. Let's get a resist order from you, please.
So what? I have nothing in any of them.
You don't have resist? Oh, that sucks.
No, it's bad. So do I? Is it?
You always get to roll
disadvantage?
1. You always get to roll 1. So
Okay. Roll 12 dice 1.
That is success at a cost.
All right. The whatever utensil I picked up stabs me in the hand.
I think I like the visual of you being able to bending this thing subconsciously under the stress of the circumstance. I dig that. But you don't rise to the occasion. You don't like snap at her or respond in a way that would break decorum. But I would love for you to go and roll just 1d3 mind stress. Nothing huge.
Okay. So 2.
Okay. And add that to your stress and then go roll Fallout, please.
Oh boy!
It could be below 10. It could be above 10. It'll be fine. That was a 7. That is unfortunately not. That is unfortunately not above 10. You clear all your mind stress, so that's good. Like an unstopped dam, there is no mechanical penalty, but the fact that this is picking at this wound of yours, you give up something that you don't mean to give up. I think you express your thoughts genuinely. You keep your shit under control. You don't fling, you don't scream, but you definitely reveal what it felt like to the table, or how you now feel.
Okay.
So to wind it back to what she says before you intervene or kind of call her out. Oh, I wonder what it might feel like to feel nothing for a while. I have so many thoughts whizzing around my head, it might be nice. No thoughts, head empty.
No, you don't want to know. Whatever buzzing is going on in your head, consider that a luxury. To have it all taken away is unspeakable. Because it's not you're deciding something, it is not that you've made a choice, it is ripped from you.
The loss of freedoms. I can understand that. I mean, I've put myself in a very good position where I don't really have to worry about a loss of freedom, but I do know what it's like removing freedom from others and the expressions they make on their faces when I tell them they have gone beyond what is allowed in their lives. I wonder if whatever did that to you also felt like that. The satisfaction of removing things from you. That's enough, Layla. Oh no, I don't think it is, actually. She says with surprising amounts of annoyance. I think I'm being very good and very kind here, not taking the gun that I have placed under this table carefully, and shooting, well, at least these two in the head for essentially inciting demonic incursion, I do believe for the second time in their criminal careers. I'm doing you a fucking favor.
A favor. I see.
I think Dash thinks she'll cut in, realizing where this is going. It might be worth us focusing on the actual bigger issue here, which is the Bluecoats and the true location of this entity. If it is just tendrils that we're dealing with, like Ben Whitworth and the other 6 or 7 you've identified, perhaps there's a core to it.
I agree. But we're unfortunately a little light on leads, which I'm ashamed to say. I think if we managed to go and find what was making them and stop that, then at the very least we could retrieve something resembling even keel. Failing that, well, my boss and I have been talking, and we have thought that one of the most efficient ways to prevent, I don't know, demonic incursions is to make sure there are no people who could cause demonic incursions in Doskvol. I mean, we would only need to be hands-on for the first 8 or 9, first couple of dozen, and then the rest would probably think better of it. I would love a roll from you, Dash. The Star is willing to listen to you about the circumstances at hand. Layla would love to be convinced to do something other than murder people in order to solve this problem.
Okay. Certainly a compel coming in then. What society? I assume it's one of the societies?
I have called her for order previously, so I think let's stick with order.
Let's go for compel order. Do I have anything particularly clever to throw at this? Hugely. Okay, let's make the roll then. Do I need devil's bargains thrown into this?
Oh my god, not from me, but I will open it to the table.
No, not from me either.
I think that it would be interesting if them knowing that you deal with demonology comes back in a sort of using you as a possible anti-demon demon.
Ooh,
It takes a criminal to catch a criminal, huh?
Tit for tat.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's probably, I think the moment before I made the roll, I like that demons, but I'll take that. Dash will obviously sticking with her appeal of dealing with the main threat rather than getting distracted by things on the periphery, will, as part of the conversation, make eyes at Layla and was like, almost puppy dog eyes of, would you really shoot me, Layla? Would you really shoot Dash?
So yes, you're going to get an additional die to this roll, and Layla Mays is going to ask of you a fatal favor that you will be very difficult to refuse.
Understood. Oh, thank God.
The crit. I mean, I didn't give resistances for these people to be convinced, but hey, you have your dress that lets you deal, I guess, increased social damage. So why don't you go roll me 2d6 pick highest?
Is it R1? No. I can't remember how you...
Oh, yeah. I mean,
4.
hey. Yeah. Sure. All right.
Really good puppy dog eyes.
Oh, don't worry, darling. She reaches a hand across the table, knocking over, I think, the star's glass of white wine and doesn't care. And takes you by the hand, places her hand on yours. I would never harm you. I mean, I'd kill for you. And, well, I hope if this is going to be a professional relationship that we're arranging and that I'm going to be listening to your line of logic, you'd kill for me?
Dash has done a lot of things, she'll say.
I want Detective Abel Islington dead, please.
Dash does need to get access to Ben, unless we've got access to one of the other ones. That opportunity might present itself.
Layla smiles wide. I think I might have a lead for you then.
Ooh.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Title card.
I do believe that in the nature of the Bluecoats trying to go and arrest people who are involved in this particular incident, and apparently other reports of them chasing down the magically inclined, again, I remind you, is my remit. They have to hold them somewhere. And, well, it seems that you can't keep a magician behind conventional bars. So they've had to ally with people with a bit more arcane knowledge, and they decided to not pick us, so I can only think that they may be working with the Church of the Weeping Lady, since they have their own prison, and they're already best of friends.
Threads winding together. Substash.
The star stands up, and with that glass of wine knocked over, I have a feeling that this evening is done. He has not touched his meal. It looks expensive, but he clearly
same
was
here.
Well, you have no utensils to eat your meal with now.
Not anymore. I do have a quick question.
Of course.
What is the table situation? Are we on like a table out in the floor, or is it like a booth situation?
A booth situation. It seems that all the tables out here are little private booths, so unless you like yell, you can't really be heard. Layla has raised her voice a handful of times, but nobody seems to have taken too much attention to it.
Okay. Bask would like to do something stupid. Especially now that the star has moved out the way. What are Layla's hands situation like? On table, below table, what's going on?
On table, we've established that she is having, as established, a very yandere Yuri moment and has her hands. I don't think she's taken her hands off yours, Dash. This entire conversation, while she looks in your eyes and asks if you will kill for her. So yeah, her hands are still there.
Okay. So what Bask would like to do is take the table and just push it into her midsection and hold it there.
Okay.
And to be very clear, if I don't take it away, she might die from lack of oxygen, unable to breathe, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would love from you
Yes.
I guess this is a fight order roll. This is at 1 difficulty. And I think even if you succeed, there will be specific immediate consequences. But
Yes. I'm engaging in reckless behavior. It's what I do.
I mean, this is cool as fuck. I'm just wondering
Yeah.
what's going to fucking happen on the other side of this. Hold on.
Oh. Not getting invited back to this posh restaurant again, I think is what's happening.
Yeah.
I've got nothing in order. I've got 1 from just natural rolling. I have 2 in fight, but this isn't my specialist fight category, so I've got 2 dice, I think. Yes.
Okay. Does that factor in the 1 difficulty?
That would reduce my dice pool.
Okay. To 1.
So I'm down to 1 again.
All right.
I think.
Yeah. Difficult rolls are supposed to be a little bit spooky. But hey, you can still roll a crit with 1d10.
Yep. Bang.
Hey. Oh, thank you, dice.
Okay. All right. Okay. You stand up. I guess you kind of.
I don't even know if I stand up. I think from the sitting position where I am, I just grab my side of the table and push.
Okay.
So, and specifically, I do this because she said there was a gun under the table.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure she cannot access that.
Yeah. And you
Because
do.
now, yeah.
You pin her with the table against the booth.
And now that she is in fact locked in place, and go. In this conversation, you've not only threatened myself, but you've threatened someone I am charged to protect. The fact I am not ending your life this instant is my favor to you.
Blacksmith, what the fuck are you doing?
Ask, stand down.
I am merely going. I am reciprocating the attitude we are given. So like I said,
Look.
you're welcome. And I let
This
the
is
table
one
go.
There is he grabs you by the shoulder and kind of like, you know, in sotted whispers into your ear. The circumstances here are greater than than what's under either of our control. They are pushing for things well beyond. They're all willing to set fire to everything, everyone, as long as they get their way.
They aren't the only one.
I think you underestimate the amount of power they have backing themselves. But hey, if you're willing to go and put you and yours in the firing line to go and blow some steam, I suppose that's your prerogative. He lets go of you.
I didn't know who this are. I just make it very clear. You do not threaten my group.
With Layla, big puppy dog eyes, looking at you, Dash. Why would he do that to me? Aren't you gonna help me? That hurt.
Ask. Time to go.
Agreed.
Dash will, however, walk over to Layla and help her up. And let Bass leave first. But keep him within shot.
She is like a switch, the pinnacle of pitiful. Oh my god, it hurts so much and I didn't know what to do. I'm just this one lady in this room and intimidated by such brutish men. And I'm glad that you're here to protect me, because clearly no one else is going to.
Dash is terrible in this situation because she knows she's been lied to by a liar at this point.
Mm-hmm.
She's noting where the gun. In fact, there's probably a subconscious move to make sure that she's led away from the table and the gun.
Mm-hmm. as you're kind of like leading. She's clinging to your arm as you're kind of making your way down this through to kind of leave this space. And
based on the, don't know if I overheard or at least caught the star chatting with Bask.
I think that would have been private to Blacksmith,
yeah. But there was a way that she behaved to the star which rung a lot of red flags up, and the way that she said boss and wasn't referring to him. I would like a quick sweep over the room and just see if there's anybody else who was obviously keeping an eye on this conversation.
I don't even think you need to roll for that.
Oh, goody.
There was a man in the corner watching this conversation the entire time. He looks old, weathered. Bags under his eyes like he's never slept, like he doesn't really know the concept of sleeping. He watches you leave the room. Well, that was fun. We are starting to approach the end of our time today, but we are going to at least set things up for the next sesh, and we let the night pass into morning. As these characters go away, goodbye, farewell. I'm sure this is the last we'll ever see of both of you.
I mean, at one point, I'm sure Bask will make that true.
You make these big threats, but who knows how easy it is to actually achieve those threats.
That's not important. That's detail work. I don't do detail work.
Listen, I'm just point out that Reed has had the big mouth and then shit roll syndrome, so be careful.
Yeah, the disease may spread, but
no. Look, this is the best rolls I've had in any game where I talk big like this. This is amazing.
This is true. I loved that 10. I was fully braced for a 2.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, I don't want there to be a fight in here, but there might be. I don't fucking know. And there wasn't. It was great. Anyway, we moved to the next day to an area. We're not bothering to look at the world map. It's not super important, but we're in Char Hollow. Char Hollow is not an especially fancy part of town, but this manor house that we see is definitely the most expensive looking thing in a several block radius. The front, a well-manicured lawn, many rows of plants, flowers, hedges, scented herbs, planted in circular patterns, concentric, fractal. It reminds you of the kind of plant work that grows outside the main church of the Weeping Lady. For this is, in fact, the Bunker House, a rehabilitation facility for those who have been, convicted of criminal endeavors, to be taken in time for service, therapy, and rehabilitation so they can return to the community of Duskville with new skills and a broader mind to helping the community. Reed's coffee appointment is imminent, but I assume you are all here together?
I'd say so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, to be able to go and get a better signal to talk to the man from the other side, that one Bert Graham, you'll probably need the electrogram. It's not small, but it is carryable. It's a little larger than a regular typewriter. Who has it?
I don't think it would be a good idea for Reed to have it.
That makes sense.
I think that Adelaide would probably be carrying it. Could it be mistaken for a regular typewriter?
I'll give you the choice. You can either partially dismantle so you can build it together again to make it operate. But it'll be harder or take longer to get it up and running, but it will look like a regular typewriter because you've removed the unusual things about it. Or you can keep it intact and it'll be easier to get up and running, but it's a bit more recognizable as something unusual, especially if you took it out of its case. It has like a carry case. Carrying around a full uncovered typewriter would be awkward for anyone, I think.
Sure.
It's like one of those black plastic and like silver metal Pelly cases.
Yeah. So I think he's going to leave it put together, and just if I forget this personally, somebody later on down the line, please try and remind me that the excuse that he's going to try and use is that it's some kind of new voice activated typewriter.
Witchcraft.
It's an auto stenographer.
Okay, so yes, we're not immediately outside it together because you're probably going to split ways, but is there any conversation you want to have before Reed gets going on their side of things?
We need to plan our objectives for this carefully.
All I can assure for all of you is access. I can't guarantee safety or detection. Actually, GM, would it be possible for me to have had access to a map of the place?
Yeah, I think because you're supposed to be here on a regular basis, so you have a map. You cannot guarantee. You know that there is more to this building than what you generally have access to as somebody who is essentially a friend of the owner. So, there may be things on this map that some things that are real that are not on this map, or annotations that are missing, but you definitely have a general shape of what this building is and where corridors lead under normal circumstances.
Yeah, I hand the map to Adelaide.
Thank you. I think my cover for this is going to be trying to get in and maybe discuss some things with people who have maybe previously been picked up for some aggressive union activity, shall we say. Since this is supposed to be a retraining hall, making sure that they're on the up and up and that things are being handled appropriately is a good excuse for me to be here, to be taking notes.
But at least a couple of us probably have some sort of disguise, so it doesn't look obviously like us doing this if we do. So we're backing up Adelaide's deception.
I will let you take multiple instances on the glamour effect to be able to essentially do so for other people. But that will be multiple instances of you taking on mind stress to do so.
Who would like to be disguised so Dash can have a minor fallout, which is probably quite fitting after that last encounter, as she goes home, works some magic, and then has a massive fallout over it. Bask, I'm assuming?
I don't know. Player and character very rarely are concerned with hiding his appearance.
Sure. I mean, in a Blades in the Dark kind of situation here, I don't want to necessarily dwell on the plan going in when we can experiment in flashbacks and stress and fallout and decide where we've planned or where we go. But yes, we've raised the idea that you're going under maybe some kind of pretense. It's kind of common knowledge that visits to the bunker house are possible, both, family members seeing the people who are in habilitation, but also as a way to visibly demonstrate the benefits of what the Church of the Weeping Lady can do for the community. And so you can see all the things that they're getting up to and the skills that they're learning. So there is a mundane reason to be on premises.
Okay. That sounds good. Dash will make the comments. as we go here, we leave there with your friend settled, Ben Whitworth in tow, and Islington's arm not attached to his body. The other arm, after a pause.
All right. And with that, it is time for Reed's coffee morning with the administrator. This is kind of a familiar space. Well, you're here often, so in that way it's familiar, but also aesthetically familiar to the recovery lounge within the main Church of the Weeping Lady. After all, this building was built by them, and they clearly seem to enjoy the mirroring or the repetition of spaces like this in buildings that they own. The layout isn't exactly the same, but the feeling of this space is familiar. You meet with your regular contact. I put it on the map player. Oh, damn it. Control Z, please. You meet with your regular contact. He says, sweating. There we go. The administrator. A tall and thin man, deep-skinned with a very precisely crafted hair and a long formal robe decorated with jewelry. Now, I need to kind of decide what voice this man has.
Welcome, Reed, to the hall. No, that's no.
That's a little. I guess that kind of ride. The Owaka voice is Bergamot. I like the idea that his voice is relatively up here, though in some ways that's maybe even more menacing. How softly spoken this man is, and yet what he is currently organizing. Good morning, Reed Quadrature. Actually, by full name, Canula Quadrature.
Canula Reed. Not even Reed, just Canula Quadrature.
I will check, because obviously for the blacksmith, being called by his first name is a pain point, and the administrator isn't pissing you off, he just knows you.
It feels like a title, so it doesn't bother them.
Okay. Good morning, Canula. It is good to see you.
Good morning. I don't think they know the administrator's name. Just the administrator.
What a wretched power balance this man has clearly intentionally crafted, despite this being a casual occasion.
The bunker house is looking as efficient as ever this morning.
Thank you.
Now, I've brought a gift, and they hand over sort of like a bag of Java beans from like they got from the coffee house.
Thank you very much. I do my best to tend to my garden, to prune and water and fertilizers needed to make sure they can all blossom. So, how appropriate you have brought me botanicals for this circumstance. Shall I brew us some coffee?
Indeed. I've prepared some topics for conversation. I believe it was my turn this week, after all.
Yes. Well, in that case, I will let you settle yourself down as I make the coffee. And then when we sit down, we can have a chat.
While... actually, what's the administrator's pronouns? He, him?
Yes, he, him.
Cool. While he's got his back turned, I want to scan, because this is office, if I can glean something important.
Oh, I like that. Like, even though this is styled by the Recovery Lounge because of his, like, I guess, MO for him being in an open healing community, he does actually have a work desk in here.
Yeah.
Hmm. So I guess this would be investigate religion.
Okay, and I can finally roll again.
Hmm?
I can finally roll myself again, so I will roll
Yes,
those
yes, yes.
dice. Let's see. No Devil's Bargains, just the same thing. Let's go.
All right. Okay.
Ooh, what an evening.
Interesting. Okay. All right. All right. So, above table, what do you, Ruben, want out of this exchange with the administrator?
From this exchange, I want to showcase Reed's doubt in the Weeping Lady, and sort of like require the admin to like show me a deeper truth, like preferably like oh, you're having doubts, this is why we're doing it, let me take you to this place, right?
Okay. Right. Then this feels like it's two different clocks that are going on here. Then. So one of these is going to be.
Actually, I do want to mostly provide distraction for the rest of the group.
I think unless things go horrendously wrong and you have to run away, that will happen. So,
Okay. That's perfect.
So you don't need to worry about that so much. Also, for this kind of loss, this is a public place. I will open it to the table if there are other people here, either staff or residents, as it were, of the bunker house. If people want to be present in the scene, even if they're not necessarily in the conversation, if that makes sense. Okay. So we have
like vignettes of what is considered like re-education or like integration training.
Enhanced interrogation.
Exactly. like Dishonored. I think Death of the what's the third game called? But that
Outsider.
Death of the Outsider has a great sort of like quote unquote re-education system.
So we have two clocks here. We have one that's bolstering Reed's faith and one that's breaking Reed's faith. And as these conversations go, they'll fill up, depending. They might fill up simultaneously. One might fill up more than the other. So yeah, you've succeeded. You've succeeded your investigate religion. So why don't you go and ask me two questions, and I will try and give you juicy details.
Okay, so what is there in Reed's area that links to Bergamot's notes about demonology, the Inquisition, and the Hive?
What is in here that links to Bergamot's notes? Okay. So, one of the people in here. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Because I had this in mind when this was going to come up, and I didn't know where it would come up. It can come up now. There are a number of people here, just in general, and one of them you recognize because you have seen them before, or rather, you've seen their ink before. One of the people who was at the Renaissance roast, Matthias Van Roy, who you vaguely understand through Dash having talked to you about it, is a fan of hers and has a number of her tattoos on his body. He's a tattoo artist himself. They are pretty visible, even with a shirt on, maybe like on the backs of hands, maybe on his neck. And you see that all of those visible tattoos are like bandaged or have some kind of patch on them, and he is looking very concerned and out of his depth. Like, why is he here?
Interesting.
Because you got the 10, and I will like put the connections together. It seems pretty likely that because he has ocean magic adjacent tattoo work, even though they are not completed magic circles, because they would fire if they were completed, the fact that he has them and has been done by a notable celebrity, they have taken him in for questioning.
Right. Clearly overstepping the religious and moral considerations.
Well, it doesn't look
ocean
like he's
magic.
necessarily committed a crime. Not that you know. Mostly he just looks upset, and whatever tattoos you remember him having are currently covered.
Okay. Do they seem like they recognize me? Probably. I'm walking
Yes,
around
considering
with a
you've been you're a very recognizable face and you've been seen around Dash. I guess he maybe passes close by to you while the administrator is still making coffee. You know Dash, right?
Yes, we work together in some capacity. You look like you've had a hard time of it.
Telling me they busted my door in to the tattoo parlor like yesterday, and they said a lot of things about me being under suspicion of a conspiracy for demonic incursion. So I said, yeah, I haven't done anything wrong, I'll go with you. So they took me in, and I've had to have my tattoos removed, so still kind of hurts, but at least they're not doing anything worse, I guess.
There's an invisible expression of remorse, I think, on Reed's face. And they just say, right, these procedures, although efficient at achieving the stated goal of removing any outward criminal element, can result in lasting injuries. Reports, and I think Reed gives them an address, like a check-in clinic, maybe. They forget as like, if it becomes too much, and you are free to leave the bunker house.
I mean, he blinks in surprise that you have the authority to let him leave. Thank you, but more than anything else, I don't know too much. I've been lucky enough where I've not needed it, but you can use like magic to heal injuries, right? I've had these bandages on for hours and they've not healed me yet, and it hurts.
No, I cannot.
He looks crestfallen. Yeah, no, that'd be a lot to ask of you. I'm sorry, man. I'm just gonna sit here and wait it out. Hopefully they'll let me go soon.
I'll expect you at that location. It'll hurt less in a couple of weeks. I think the last word is muffled.
Okay, what's the other question you'd like to ask as he goes away and sits down?
Ooh,
The tone is much more miserable than this now. Hold on.
it's this is actually something I'm not sure of. This I'm gonna open it to the group if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
What is a point of information that we'd like to have?
Yeah,
you know?
in investigating this space, absolutely.
Where do they keep the dangerous patients? I think
Ooh, like listen to the map that I gave Adelaide, but then updated with the real places.
You have a glance at his desk. There is a pathway that kind of leads from here to some back areas of the bunker house. a wing of the building that has been marked as holding and recovery. There are far fewer interconnecting doors in that space. That area is a bit more linear, and a lot of those recovery rooms are, well, they're just immediately next to each other in a long, long line, like a number of cells next to each other, if you were looking at a map of a prison.
So everyone can learn close together, right?
There are dormitories also that are not in that wing of the building, that are, and you've seen them before, they are pretty willing to show members of the Weeping Lady around because, you know, you might consider becoming staff here. And those look like dormitories. They're intentionally not fancy. It's very convent energy, but hey, it is a room with a bunch of bunk beds and a nice window that looks over the well-tended garden and so on and so forth. But it does not appear that the holding and recovery. There's also a med bay. There are multiple med bays in this building, kind of obviously. One near the front and then one in this kind of back area. But it is so separate from everywhere else. It's strange. The corridor looks quite extensive, but it would definitely be longer than what this building would fit.
Is there any way for me to like share this information? Because I'm sitting like behind, like on a chair, and I don't know what a Gersten gang is.
If you could find some way to find an Electrovox machine of any kind, you know a frequency that the others can hear. Or a frequency that the others can at least receive. But you would need to find a station, and those aren't portable.
Interesting. Is there one in this, like in the admin's room?
Nah, this is a public space. You'd probably have to go
Gotcha.
somewhere private for that.
Interesting. I'll keep it in mind.
Done with making the coffee, the administrator sits down. Oh, also, I will let you. This is a you crit succeeded. I will ask you, because this is your decision as to whether the things you've learned will bolster or break your faith. A crit is worth 3 segment points. How would you like to fill either of those 2 clocks?
Okay. Did the new map list these like private cells as anything as like in sinister language?
This
No,
is very
right?
specifically word. I was quite precise with my wording here.
Yeah.
They are holding and recovery.
Interesting. And then having met Matthias just now. Yeah, no, the faith is breaking.
Okay. By how many? Up to 3.
I'm gonna say 3.
Okay. Meanwhile, the administrator sits down. Sorry it took me a while. I'm usually one for making tea, and the process of grinding the coffee in a way that is suitable to my palate and sensibilities does take a while. There is for coffee, a very fresh scent from this pot. Bright.
Bree raises a cup and says, "To another fruitful discussion. And with that, I'd like to ask you a question, if I may."
Well, of course. I am an open book to you, as I'm sure you are to me, even with the mask. There is it's not that wasn't intended to be pointed, more that I guess he's signifying how relaxed he is around it, because obviously you being in a mask would put some people on guard, and that is clearly not the case for him.
Yeah. I think it's a behavior that Reed has gotten used to. It's something that, you can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you must have heard about my recent guffaws within the Church of the Weeping Lady, and I resume my services providing for the poor, the meek, the weak, the ailing, and so forth, even as a liaison. Yet, I'm finding myself concerned.
Oh, well, before you go into it, the Reverend Bergamot did notify me of the circumstances at hand because he knows that I speak with you regularly. I'm sorry to hear that tensions are so high between the two of you. More than anything else, I do hope that the lady who was in charge of the Renaissance roast, I have not had the pleasure of meeting her, but the name was mentioned to me. Oh, Christine Tate. I do hope she's doing well. I do hear that part of your outburst was accusing her of untoward means.
A petulant point of worthy of inward attention, I believe. It is hard to balance what you see on the street and the moral way one is supposed to adhere to.
Well, as she is also a person of the Weeping Lady, I'm sure she knows it is not just a small mercy to forgive you, but she will do so anyway. The administrator pours the cups of coffee. Would you like cream and sugar in yours, Reed?
Not today, thank you.
But I interrupted you. You had a question following the incident?
Yes, you've had people put in the bunker house for less, so why am I not administered?
Ah, well. Okay. I don't think you need to roll for him to answer that. He would be inclined to do so pretty openly. All right. Okay. Yeah. This is, I think the way that this frames, this is a one-segment question to which he will answer, and then you can put it wherever you would like. Well, you have done so much for the Weeping Lady and the community, separate to the nature of you learning the healing arts. You have fully changed your way of life. You vowed for people to never get close to you, being able to understand one's countenance as being able to understand that person. And you now have a permanent barrier there. That sacrifice is respected. It's not just a small mercy, and we value that. Where would you like to put this information? Into bolster or break?
Contradictorily, I think in bolstering, because it's kind of a nepotism hire answer, but it's reassuring.
It seems genuine that they value the amount that you have given up to do things. Yes.
For sure. I think Reed is interested in like the dogma and the
you might need to ask a juicier question for the dogma.
That's true.
Well, that question was relatively easy, he says, adding a fair amount of cream and sugar to his coffee. Hit me with another.
Very well. I believe that was just a little question of dogma and what we see in the street, what I see in the street. It seems all so opposed to one another to hear one thing and then find myself in oozing wounds for people who cannot care for themselves. Why does the bunker house reject people who are too sick?
It's a regret that we can't take in more people into the bunker house, but this, well, I'm sure you already know. The bunker house is a place for spiritual and skill rehabilitation. We take the people who have lost their way, who don't know the power within their own bodies, to be part of the grand chorus. and we give them the skills and the drive and the knowledge they need to know their part in the grander scheme of things. But unfortunately, those who are too unwell, well, they have more pressing concerns than having their faith restored. Medical attention should come as a priority.
Yet they are also turned away at the Weeping Lady's many other alehouses, are they not? Yesterday, and I think this is when Reed gets a small box, or actually like a medium-sized coffer, out, and slides it towards the administrator with a little bit of a glint in the middle eye of the mask.
The administrator opens the box.
He will see bandages and wrappings and rest material of yesterday's shift in like the lower than low sick house.
There is his expression does not change, but you see his nose visibly wrinkle in mild disgust. He was not expecting to see medical, like essentially stained medical equipment. Because hey, that's also a health risk. Yeah. Why are you showing me this? This isn't. This is dangerous to have in a place of healing. You realize this should be disposed of.
Yes, much like you wish to dispose of many of the, not the cases you can fix, not the cases that. There's people that ended up the street, and there's people who never crawl out of the basement. And I've seen more of my share in Duskfall of the second kind. I've seen what the Weeping Lady has offered them, and what it asks in exchange, and it always baffled me how people refuse to give up misery, wretchedness, dread, just to remain true to themselves.
Well, I suppose what I would give for the people of Duskfall to be so willing to sacrifice themselves in the way that you have. You've given up so much to learn so much, and so you can help others. And sometimes people are unwilling to be able to make the sacrifices that need to be made so they can properly heal. We would love to take in more, but it's a rare circumstance where those who have the priorities of being able to keep themselves still breathing still have the capacity for thinking of broader concepts.
A sigh and a swig of coffee.
That is a 2-segment question. Where would you like to put it?
I want to put 1 in each.
Okay. I'm enjoying the coffee, but I do still have rounds to make. I probably have one more time for one more bit of verbal jousting before I have to step away. I suppose make the question a good one. This will be a 4-segment question, assuming it is spicy enough.
Oh shit. Okay, then I need to do a American football huddle.
Well, you did. You framed a question in our session notes that I actually wrote on my end a relatively detailed answer to. So I'm happy to answer that specifically.
Okay. Let me...
Not to force your hand, you can ask something else, but that is one I do have a prepared answer for.
No, true. And also, I did write that one in for a reason. Only to have forgotten that I did. All right. The Weeping Lady requires both the rich and the poor to exist. The Weeping Lady herself is both rich and poor, receiving and giving love, affection, attention, medical necessities. The dole, the mothers with their, what's it called, Kindertoeslag, like when you get payment from the government
like
for
a
kids.
Oh, I was going to say bursary. That's not quite what I mean. But yes, I
No.
understand what you
Nursery
mean.
sounds more period appropriate. Yeah, it's just like these social safety nets, and there between rich and poor, there she is, a mother to caress the child in her center. For the poor, it is obvious why she needs to exist. But why do the rich need the lady? I believe that is the question at the center of the very religion, and at the center of my crisis.
The administrator slowly finishes their cup of coffee and starts to move towards the window. I think he places a gentle hand on your shoulder and invites you to kind of walk with him to the window, to the garden outside, looking over the garden outside.
Yeah, Reed follows.
The people of Doskville, the people of the world are a garden to be tended, to blossom, and that's our role as members of the Weeping Lady, is to make sure that everyone can bloom. The poor people of Doskville are unbloomed seeds, and the rich, I suppose I would describe them as a fuel, a fertilizer in a harmonious greenhouse. The poor, as pure and as pitiful as they are, they have the drive, but just not the resources. The nobility are, even in more ways than myself, are blessed with the fortune and the ruthless societal acumen to direct that passion, that potential to blossom that burns within the have-nots towards something widely beneficial. There are so many more of them, and they can do so much if they are harmonized and given direction. If the lady was not there as a symbol of inspiration to make good, well then the rich could be tempted by other means to use their resources and be less magnanimous with the power they have. We just are here to steer people on the right course so they can use their power and funds to do something truly more than what you or I could accomplish alone. Don't you want the garden to be beautiful, Cornelia? This is a 4-segment question. Where would you like to put that?
Can I like overcharge to break my faith?
Absolutely.
It's the like glass shattering sound effect.
He looks at you expectantly.
I think sharp inhale, and then light from all 3 eyes of Reed's mask. But the light is kind of, I want to say, muddled or muddy and liquid. It seems to like there's an ebb and a flow to it. And Canula Quadrature simply replies with, yesterday, a man had both his legs amputated by me without anesthetic. His crime was being late for his employer. His employer? Why, none other than the bookkeeper of Father Bergamot. His employer, the Weeping Lady. His employer decided he could be retrieved of his legs by being thrown to the hounds. I believe those hounds frequently roam these gardens and act as fertilizer as well. Admin. and I think Reed sits back down. Does not say anything more.
The administrator's face is implacable. This has been a very enlightening conversation, Canula. I suppose this means this might be our last coffee together. And that is where we will stop this session of Chant of the Void Sea.
Oh, that was a very cool verbal boss battle.
Good energy, good energy. We ran a little long, but I'm glad we managed to do all the things we wanted to do and give them time. Because obviously we've overrun, I will ask instead of jump straight into it. Do we have time to do comments and kudos, or shall we go to outro?
I'm fine for that.
Yeah.
Okay, marvelous. Yeah, no, how do we feel about the start of, I suppose, Act 2 of Chant of the Void Sea?
Exhausted.
Shivers up the spine. There's a lot of things about to go wrong, I feel, impending.
Just two major figureheads at both ends of the criminal and the religious spectrum being upset by two hotheads, honestly.
I thought Adelaide was the firebrand.
Everybody feels very motivated to get stuff done. Yeah. No, I enjoyed all of these moments. It was even the short exchange between Adelaide and Ethelyn. And it just so happens that a couple weeks ago I played a couple sessions of Good Society and now know what the context of like Regency drama is, and like I can use this. This is my time to actually put into proper effect. Yeah. I also really enjoyed Blacksmith turning. I mean, you turned to violence. This is what you were equipped to do. But I was like, against these two now? What happens if it goes wrong?
I think the best part was I had that idea like a couple minutes before that point. Like specifically when Layla like talked about shooting Dash and I in the head because of stuff that happened around us. I'm gonna say around us. And like I had to fight of like, this is a bad idea. This is a terrible idea. That's kind of my brand now. Yes.
I'm quite happy with one of my NPC bombs turning into some sort of boss fight later that's going to absolutely murder us.
There are multiple characters now that are very willing to throw hands with all of you, and I have no idea how that's going to like shake out.
Allergies, caffeine, the final boss.
I just
It's such a Ruben name. Allergies, caffeine is Ruben, would you mind sharing with the table some of the names that we had for our heart campaign?
Yes, let me open up the doc. 1 sec.
Because I have some that I enjoy, but I didn't know whether you had some off the dome. We met in Asbestos Fabrics.
Most trustworthy salesman.
We met a duo of Shitlord Crazy and Maurice.
Shit, I forgot about shit.
Surprisingly, Maurice is the one you got to watch out for.
He was.
Every time Lucas just breaking on that was.
Yeah. One of our players just could not maintain composure every time that name came up. We had to introduce an NPC. I was like, I need to go and give them a name that sits with the same energy of Ruben's name. So I introduced the Velvet Monte Carlo. It's very, very that energy. So allergies, caffeine is like, no, perfect, good.
Hold on, I'm still looking. There's too many to choose from.
Well, while you're digging, does anybody else have any other comments and kudos for the session today?
I would like to throw mine out to Sheila for the whole joy scene. It was just very, very entertaining and well done for the very in detail description of the food and drinks being prepared.
Yes, thank you so much for taking that on.
I was also going to say that just because as a scene, it was fun not only to play in, but see like who are the people that aren't messing with the magic apocalypse on a daily
Mhm.
basis.
Mm-hmm.
Playing in world building is fun like that.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed both the sermon and this, in addition to just kind of like little role play mini games and stuff. I have been increasingly fascinated with using tabletop RPGs to explore what we value in our local communities and why we care about them. So many RPGs are about going over the hills and valleys and exploring distant locations, and it means you never really get to know the people or places because you don't spend time there. And having opportunities to do that in this campaign is something I really wanted. So I'm so glad folks are enjoying doing it on top of the other drama.
I want to give some kudos to both you and to, let's see, I always get your usernames mixed up, and so like basically between obviously Caster and Reed on that entire verbal sparring match at the end.
It
was
really cool.
Like, I never knew exactly where that was going to land, and what a reveal at the end there, and I love the implications of that.
The,
Oh my goodness.
The little glow, you mean? Wonder what that's about.
Yeah, it's something that's been slowly cooking in the background this entire season, and I've been really looking forward to seeing how it turns out, and here we are.
I mean, even if we understand what Reed is about, I am fully okay with never seeing what's underneath the mask. Like, that's just the thing we do not broach, either or. But I'm fascinated with getting to know more about discovering the nature of Reed, but also the idea of those kind of things, like it's a discretion shot, like you remove the mask but the camera doesn't see it, or something like that. I was like, ooh.
Or there's just another mask underneath it.
A smaller, tinier mask.
Exactly. Of a different planet, a different moon.
Big surprise, both Reed and Bask are Ratatouilles.
That's why we never take the mask and hat off.
Any other comments and kudos? I have a general tone question thing that I want, but I'll save it until later.
I have kudos. I want to give Bask because kudos because what you said about sort of like you don't want that emptiness, you want to hold on to like what's going on in there. I thought that was really powerful and cool, and that resonated. That was really sick. I also have found a funny NPC name, Lo de Chancho, which is French
hot
for
dog
hot
water.
dog
Yes.
water.
Yes. Oh my god.
Shout out.
And I'll say this, Caster, that interaction with Layla not only pissed off Bat, it like got me upset. Like, oh my god, I wanted to throw hands so bad in that scene.
I am. I'm glad. I guess this is the thing I wanted to kind of ask in general, that we've been managing to get strong feelings in most of the sessions, like, and I'm like, hopefully in like a good way. I don't want to be engineering these circumstances, even though at the top of the session we're like, hey, terrible things are happening to these people, and people are like, actually, this is emotionally rending in a way that sucks. So please do let me know if it strays into not fun territory at any point, please.
This is good. This is good. It feels it's been an odd one running this one, given the personality swaps between this one and the original Blades one. So I might have to have Dash snap by the end of the campaign. Take your fucking hands off, Dash.
Don't you want to lose it? Don't you just want to go apeshit?
Yeah, that is something else of how I in the first campaign, Bash was like, he's a hammer. In this one, I'm trying to explore. Like, I get put on the spot of like, all right, what does this man think about the situation? And it's in the best possible way.
No, I'm glad it's an exciting question to answer. I ask because relatively recently, I went through as part of a 4-part series of playing Monster of the Week on the oh gosh, I'm tired. I'm forgetting the name of the channel. I should know the name of the channel. I was literally there on Friday. Horde of Tales. Thank you. And it was a fun time. It was a cool thing. But I noticed something about the approach to horror in that, both in terms of the GM and the people playing, that it was very much like the GM would establish something that was like unsettling, and then immediately there would be a visible, we're also on camera, right? So there's an immediate physical reaction of like, ooh, I don't like that, vocally expressing, oh, that is a scary thing that is occurring. And I'm not used to that. I'm very used to, when playing in horror games with y'all, like collectively, because we've between us have done various horror circumstances before, like sitting in it, or people kind of then also putting their hand in and being like, let me also make it scary. So I value that. I never really came across that kind of contrast before in a horror game where people were playing horror in such a different way to what I am normally used to. I don't know if anybody else has had similar feelings of that kind of thing before.
I definitely have, just because I love running horror and things that challenge people and put them in a place where they're forced to face something. It's part of the entertainment industry, jazz hands. And I know that working with y'all in particular has helped me be better at that. And you know, it's not presenting stuff for the sake of shock value. It's, like I said, putting people in a place where they have to actually consider heavy things. I think that this group, you know, and I say that in whole, is very good at doing that without resorting to squick, if that makes sense.
Yeah. To that end, I think how Layla Mays behaved in that scene is the hard cap of how far she will go in being a yandere weirdo. I wouldn't want to roleplay anything more intense than that with her, to be honest.
That was sufficient level for
yeah.
for our purposes, I feel.
Yeah.
Sat there going, oh no, this is horrifying.
She is the worst. We don't need to necessarily go into finer detail and just what way she is the worst. It carries.
It comes through perfectly strong how awful she is.
Because, you know, part of the kind of like inspiration for the character is how the video game Limbus Company deals with the character Kruma, who is from an existing piece of material but has kind of been reframed as this yandere fascist is probably how I would describe the character, and trying to take that energy but without her just killing a bunch of people on camera, because that doesn't quite work for where we are. Maybe later. But for now, trying to get that sense of menace going through. I'm glad it's a cool vibe. A terrible cool vibe. Oh shit. Good. No, I feel very bolstered. There was a whole thing that I wanted to. Oh yeah. Ultimately, I have in mind this campaign is probably going to run in the ballpark of, now I guess 3 sessions, because we still need to do bunker house exploration stuff that we didn't do today. But I envision it happening on a joyous note, ending on a joyous note is a thing I want to kind of gun for, considering. Because yeah, ultimately, while you all, even the villains of this piece, kind of deeply care about the community being healthy, but have very, very different perspectives on how that could be achieved. And ultimately, if the characters are invested in changing the community of Duskfall into something that is, in your perspective, healthy, how do you manage that? And is that possible to do joyously? It's a thing I would like to explore, at least in the last couple eps of this thing, to make a cool shot of that. But yeah, fuck. Oh my god. All right. We're gonna quickly flip it over to the credits roll. There we go. While we go and do the outros for everybody, Sheila Onthalis, Who are you and where can you be found?
Hi there, my name is Sheila Ornthalis, the hostess of the Come and Go Tavern. You can find us on Twitter and Blue Sky and Twitch at the Come and Go Tavern, and spelled out entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I do primarily tactics-based games, as well as currently I'm running an every Wednesday Final Fantasy XIV main story quest line. But I also do the occasional TTRPG where I, as I mentioned before, try to hit on usually some heavier stuff because I enjoy finding out those sorts of things about people. But also sometimes we do big trivial things like playing Proto Drive, which is a game that I'm involved with, all about using the Lancer system to run cool Fast and the Furious and or Initial D style races.
Yeah.
Right now we are doing essentially like every month we are releasing 4 new chassis, so 4 new vehicles and all of their parts. After this next Saturday, I think we're probably going to take a break from that for a little while because we'll have all of the base game's cars out at that point to do some work on a different system just to kind of shake the cobwebs loose before coming back and finishing up the GM section.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a whole lot of projects that I just pitched to you right there.
No, you got lots of sick stuff going on, and I love that, and I love helping to enable that. To be honest, yes.
Having somebody to bounce those ideas off of has been so good, especially when you catch me on things that I thought I already fixed and then didn't.
That's all good. Right. Coming to you from the void, this digital construct has been Basque / the Blacksmith, Captain Comic Geek. Say goodbye to the people.
Bye, people.
Marvelous. Similarly, maybe necessarily with as a truncated exit. Tom, thank you so much for appearing on here. What do you do? Where can we find you?
Probably pretty truncated at the moment. No, just most of my mostly lurker on socials rather than posting at the moment. So I'm quite anti-poking my head above the bunker line.
You're good. I appreciate you for that. And thank you so much, Ruben, for joining us once again as the fabulous Reed Quadrature.
Hi everyone, it's me, Ruben. You can find me on social media, mostly Blue Sky and X.com, I guess, sometimes. I can't believe we just called it X.com. At Urban Friend Den. And you know what? Maybe if you look out your window and you see a small little green guy just go off with a bunch of jewels, that might be me, but I won't say it.
And I have been your androgynous android game show host from the future, the Neon Caster. You can catch me here more regularly again. I was on a big hiatus while I was working on other recording projects and stuff that took up my streaming days, but we'll be returning soon on regular Thursday slots from the 11th with Mega Man Star Force, the DS game, the spiritual sequel to Battle Network. So the Dice Duo will be returning. I generally really like the story of that game, and I want to share it with people because it is surprisingly complex for something that is clearly aimed at like 11-year-olds who are fan of shonen anime. Speaking of shonen anime, you can obtain many of my tabletop RPGs that have anime energy layered into them at theneoncaster.itch.io. My favorite one, Heartbeats in Perfect Sync, is going to be getting a big content update this year. It will be hopefully sooner rather than later. Depends on how quickly I manage to draw all the images in it. But for now, God, it's such a process. Having to draw art is so hard. But for now, we're gonna go and wrap up the stream by raiding fellow friend of the show, Satyr Strategy, Loxley, who is currently playing Fights in Tight Spaces. We will catch you next month. See you in July for Wrath Month, I guess. Peace, y'all. See you soon.
Bye.
Mwah.